And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I am John. With me, as always, Tyler.
Hey, my coffee is runneth dry. No, I saw you get a refill and I didn't.
Preparation is the first key.
Preparation H.
Of
That's
battle.
what I need with coffee, right?
Sun Tzu, Art of War.
Back of box. Preparation H.
What is Preparation H?
Heartburn?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
I feel like you get heartburn with coffee.
There's a brief period of time where I was getting a lot of heartburn, and it seems to have subsided quite a bit. Subsided?
Subsidiary. Is that just you stopped eating acidy food? Like, did you change your diet at all?
Yeah, no. Well, when I started tracking calories again, that kind of went away. So yeah, probably not eating 500,000 calories a day will ease up on the heart a little bit, I would assume.
Ever since I stopped eating pizza, turns out.
That's one of the hardest things ever.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Pizza is one of those foods that you have one slice and it's over.
Yes.
It's over. You're going to eat a whole pizza.
Well, we were talking yesterday, and I know we talked about the order. May as well just jump into the calorie stuff real quick.
Let's do it.
We went out Friday of last week.
Yep.
And did like the Hofbrauhaus.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm going in there. I'm going to have 1 liter of beer because it's my favorite beer, just across the board. Like half of ice, and that's what I love.
Okay.
And I was going to get a large pretzel, which is like 800 calories or whatever. I'm like, I have enough for this. This is my day right here. And I walk out of there with a large pretzel, had some of Chelsea's, like, it wasn't even mac and cheese. It was like some like potato mac and cheese. So it's like whatever you think the mac and cheese calories are, add potato into it. So I had that. I had two liters of beer. So I just chugged I didn't chug it, but you know what I mean? Like it's like I drank a 2 liter of pop. That's insane to think of.
Oh yeah.
So I did that.
Yep.
Then we went to like a bowling, like a pins, which is like an arcade thing. It was actually really cool. Like it was a cool place.
I've been there. Yeah, it's really cool. I like it. Pins mechanical.
I was quite not sober whenever we went there. Almost beat Kyle on pinball. I didn't. I lost a cheeseburger on there. Apparently, I was just throwing away cheeseburgers like it was crazy.
Oh yeah, you were in the prime.
But I had another beer there.
Yeah.
And keeping in mind, I mean, yes, I had some food, but it's like I had a pretzel and a little bit of mac and cheese. Had a beer there. Had a couple shots there. Then we went to get tacos, which by this point, Tyler ain't saying no. Like, of course, absolutely.
It's over.
So it's just like my calories are just shot. And then it's not like, okay, tomorrow I'll get back on the horse. It's like, no, damage is done. Now I'm like, you know, it'd be great right now for Chinese food. Let's get some, get that delivered over. And it took me like 4 days to just punch myself in the face and like get back on the horse. It was so bad.
That is violent.
But I'm back. It's just like,
welcome back to the horse. I
gained like 3 pounds just from my little tryst with calories.
It's tough, man. It's tough. You fall off and then it spirals.
It's very helpful so I was going to say it's very helpful whenever we're like going to D&D and it's like, hey, I can't have pizza, right?
Well, when you have a brother in arms?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then my brother in arms is eating a triple from Wendy's with a medium fry.
It was an allotment. I drank a protein shake at noon.
Yeah.
And then I ate a Dave's Hot and Juicy triple.
I thought we were both eating our own dinners and then going to D&D. I didn't know we were bringing our dinners to D&D. So
everyone was yelling at me. They're like, why wouldn't you just get pizza? It's like, dude, pizza gives me no benefit and just calories. And also your argument about
it. Yeah.
Although I calculated it, I could do a Domino's medium if I ate literally nothing.
What does that put you at?
It was like 1,500.
1,500?
It was like 1,500.
Yeah. Sure,
but I don't hit my protein amount for the day. That's the problem.
At that point, you're better off going to Blaze, getting a mushroom pizza for 600, and like you can still have
100%.
like really the rest of your day. 600 calories is totally fine for dinner. Yeah,
that's nothing. Yeah, so no, but the Dave's Hot and Juicy is 1,100, but a lot of protein in there. It's a big square of meat right there.
That's a lot. That's a cube. That's nearly a cube.
It's a cube.
I wonder
protein.
how many patties you need stacked on top of each other to equal the cube. That's got to be
the cube?
Easy. I don't know. 3.5 inches.
A cube, like
a cube.
Like
so
all equal sides.
Yeah. So if the patty is like 3.5 inches wide, you just how many patties stacked?
I would say 6.
Sure,
that sounds about right.
I would say 7.
Okay, we'll do an experiment someday.
But how crappy is that? We actually have to get 3 Dave's Dave Tripp.
Calvin was telling me about this secret item on the Wendy's menu.
Items, okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. He totally. Sure. I don't know how he knows about this stuff, but there's this like secret item. I forget what it's called. It might be called the cube or something, or the box.
Yeah.
And it's like this 8 stacked patty.
That's nuts.
And it's like you have to like whisper it to them or something and tell them the password.
I talked about them doing a double Big Mac, but all fish. That's the craziest thing I've ever made. That
sounds disgusting.
Yeah, it's 4 fish patties.
Wow.
Yeah.
Filet-O-Fish?
Filet-O-Fish.
Yeah.
But it's Big Mac. So it's literally you make a Big Mac, and the way the guy ordered it was like, all right, I want a Big Mac.
Yeah.
And I want double meat. So I'm like, okay, 4 patties, not a problem, easy. He's like, but then instead of the meat, I want fish. I'm like, buddy, I got to charge you $1 per. He's like, I don't care what it costs.
Money's not an object.
This is what I want. I don't want the tartar sauce. I'm like, no, look, man, hey, I
just
understand
grabs you by the collar. He says, you don't understand.
He's like, I need to make this for you. Like, let me back there. No, but like, I was like, sure, man, I got you. Like, I'm a competent McDonald's employee.
Sure.
I can make this for you.
Yeah.
By the end of my tenure there, man, I was making some
abominations.
Stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well,
you
good.
told me one of my favorites was always the infused
little chicken
nuggets. Yeah, where you would inject them with sauces.
Yep. Yeah. That was just for me though. Usually, that was like I think the only time I did that for a customer, they wanted a chicken salad, but we were out of like grilled chicken or crispy chicken or something like that.
Sure.
I'm like, I could make you a pretty good chicken. They're like, okay. And so I handmade the salad. So like we had all the ingredients, and you typically pre-make them and you throw them in the refrigerator.
Right.
But I handmade it, picked all the good stuff, made sure it was like topped with everything, a lot of cheese and everything. And then I just put chicken nuggets in like a spiral pattern, all infused with like ranch dressing, because they wanted like, and they give a packet of ranch on top of that. They were like, that's pretty good.
No, that is probably the highlight of your culinary career.
Yeah, they had a stroke the next day, but it was pretty good.
We remember them fondly. Speaking of...
We have a lot to talk about, and somehow we went to burger cubes.
Well, I love burger cubes. Yeah. They're probably my 4th favorite thing in the world.
Do you want to close out your calorie thing? We got a scale set up for you?
Yeah, so Tyler's scale is extremely fancy.
Cal got me that for my wedding.
Yeah, what a nice gift.
Yeah.
So you set up your account, your profile, and it'll tell you, your weight, your body fat percentage, your muscle poundage.
It'll give you your cardiovascular age,
the weather outside, your moral
I don't know why it gives you the weather. I think the only reason the weather showed up
if
is
you want to
because
go for
we're
a run,
in
probably.
range of the Wi-Fi. The weather does not show up in the bathroom because it just can't find the Wi-Fi.
Anyways, so yeah, it tells you the weather, tells you if you're a good person, tells you your future, I think. But anyways, so
I'm trying to find your health report, by the way. Sorry,
no, you're good. I think for my first weigh in here, I guess, are you going to follow me on this? Are you going to weigh yourself in next week, or is it just me?
Yeah, no, I can. I do mine in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah,
as long as you have a tracked. Anyways, so for me, I think it was 183.
We're at
183 right now. Body fat percentage was 18.1, and I forget what else it told me. A muscle poundage was 142.
Yep, I'm bringing you up right now. All right, you ready for this?
And the weather outside is 32 degrees. I remember that too. Yeah.
We technically can start logging your blood pressure.
Oh, what was my blood
your
pressure?
Heart rate. I don't have that yet.
Oh.
So the vascular age you have to do multiple times.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so it's going to take quite a few weeks to get.
What if it says like 80? Should I be concerned?
Yes.
Okay.
Because as bad as I am health wise, like I'm right within age. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, so your body fat is 18.2%.
Shit.
Yeah.
I discounted myself 0.1%. Damn it,
dude. Mine's like. Well, I'll tell you what mine is in a minute. Actually, hold on. This will give the listeners just a perfect understanding.
Okay.
Do you want to guess my body fat percentage? Do you want to hit me with
27.
29.
That was close.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
So it's not good. Okay. So 10% more than. Anyway, you're 18.2 body fat. Your bone mass, 4%. I think mine's actually the same, but I don't know. We're healthy. No, my bone mass is 3.5%.
Got to drink more milk, man.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know if you can improve that.
It says this is weird. It says your height today, you're actually 6'1".
I'm 6'1"?
That's what it's telling me.
I'm telling everyone that.
Go for it,
You heard
man.
it here first, folks. I am now 6'1" officially. Officially.
Your weight is 182.9.
Perfect.
And then your muscle mass is 77.7%.
77.7.
You have 10% on me. My muscle mass is 67%. So basically,
wait a second. So if it's 77.7 and then 18.2% body fat, what is the other bone and stuff?
Yeah. Bone and stuff.
Bone, soul.
Yeah.
How much soul percentage do I have?
Just 1%.
Do I have any left after my job?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's what that is. If you want to do the cardiovascular age, you can. This is just me being honest. I don't like standing on the scale for like 9 years while it's like shooting electricity through me. Like, I'm like, just tell me my weight and my body mass.
No, I'm good with those measurements. I think that's good.
I have that set up. So I think now that I logged that specifically to your profile, as it does it more and as it learns you should be fine. We're such a disparity in terms of like weight that it's not going to be like, oh, who are you or whatever.
No, I think it's good. I'm afraid it's going to learn too much about me. It's going to tell me things that I don't know about myself. So
it's just building you up to start crashing you. Like, oh, hey man, hey, you're 6'1". You're good.
It's just going to show up on the scale one day like, maybe you should fix those trust issues you have. And be like, oh, wait, what?
Just start giving you a little...
Vitamin D can help with that.
Little fortunes.
Yeah, little fortunes.
Oh, man, what a segue. Do you want to do these real quick?
Rip them off, man.
We are off the rails in terms of...
So we literally planned out... We have like 7 things to talk about. We planned out the hierarchy of what we want to do, and we are going absolutely backwards.
We're on a time crunch and everything.
Tyler has fortune cookies in his hand, and So what's the background on this?
So Chelsea and I ate Chinese food once a week for a year, and not quite, but also closer than probably we should have. And out of the year of 2022, I have found 5 fortunes that I thought were worth saving to read to you.
I feel like that's a fantastic percentage.
So especially the last time we had Chinese food. So I don't know why I'm pointing over to.
I'm looking.
Nothing.
I'm following.
Yeah, you are, and there's nothing over there. The last time we had Chinese food. One of my fortunes was do or do not, there is no try.
I think that's from something.
Yeah, it's not a bad quote, maybe not top 5 either.
Not top 5.
But it's
Check
just
out
like, can you say that?
I feel previous like that's episode.
Yeah. All right.
Well, so you can't copyright words.
Yeah, but you can copyright the order of words, can't you?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, research department.
Yeah.
Check it out.
No, you definitely can't.
Research department, if you're listening to this, which I know you are. Hey.
The new one or the old one?
Both. Because here's what's going to happen.
That scares me that the new one's listening right now, but it probably is.
Here's what's going to happen. If the old one wants the research job back,
it just has to be smarter than
GPT. We need to know what episode I talk about waffles.
Eggo waffles.
And
I think it's multiple. But
I need like a direct quote because I think that I was saying, A, they're my favorite. B, I'm more than happy to try other waffles. And if I find another waffle that's better, that's fine.
That's the key words that I'm saying.
Yeah, but everyone is saying that I'm saying it's just the best in the world.
You are, because what did you just say? I will try any other waffle, and if I think it's better,
then I'll change
better.
It. Yeah.
Not your favorite, better. So you think that Eggos are the
Eggo.
Right. So
obviously,
you think Eggos are the best?
Currently, yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So we're on the same page.
I can give you, so we don't know what episode that was.
No.
I can say that on October 28th, Jeff yelled at me about Eggos. So I want to say it's around the October timeframe. I'm sure you have better things to do, but, I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, you ready for some fortunes?
Fortune
Here
time.
we go.
Yeah.
All right, fortune number 1 of 5. I don't know why that sounded bad. Okay. It is better to light one small candle than to curse the darkness.
What?
What? I thought that was good. It's better. So, okay. How many times are you sitting in a work meeting and everyone's venting and complaining and things like that? Let's call the big problems in work darkness.
Oh, that's
and everyone's just cursing it and annoying and it sucks.
Yeah.
A better option is like, hey, here's one small solution. It might not completely negate the darkness, but it might help or might fix something, or it just gives you one little bit of light. That's better than just saying how dark it is and how miserable it is and kind of swirling in that darkness. That's how I read it anyway.
But do we have the resources to light that candle?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just based off of negativity, apparently.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Okay,
number
that's
2.
All right. Number 2.
I wasn't a
Here we
huge
go.
fan of that one.
All right. Men are apt to settle a question rightly when it is discussed freely.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that one.
Yeah.
So it's basically, like, hey, let's actually have a debate.
Yeah.
Let both sides actually talk.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than cursing each other and saying like, you're absolutely wrong, whatever, like even if their ideas are, maybe not well received, for instance, flat earth, right?
Sure.
Let's at least talk it through. Let's at least see where they're coming from. Let's understand the perspective before starting just to write them off completely,
No, I agree. I think the best ideas or arguments or whatever you're talking about come from a feeling of freedom, right?
Yeah, you have to
There's
be able to...
no preconception. There's no judgment or fear of judgment, right?
Right, that's the big one.
And, well, yeah, but I feel like, you're probably more likely to fail at that point too, or maybe not have a sound argument or whatever the case may be. But also, I think that elevates the ceiling where your inhibitions are not...
like open your mind. You might at least learn a different angle that maybe you're not otherwise thinking of or
I like
whatever.
that. I like number 2.
All right, number 3. Be not afraid of growing slowly. Be afraid only of standing still.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that applies to, for
it's
instance,
like
podcasting.
if you're not getting better, you're getting worse, right? There's no...
Yeah.
Like stagnation is
just bad. You need to continue to get better.
Yeah. No. Yep.
All right. Number 4, necessity does everything well. I thought that was a good one. Where it's like, okay, for instance, I'm very bad at, I hate calling people, right? For instance, I hate calling people. I hate scheduling things. I hate, trying to organize timetables and like project managing and things like that. Like I hate it.
Right.
Everything happening with our house, right? Where I'm like organizing all the different like contractors and plumbers and electricians. It's like, I have to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool. Like, I mean, so when it's talking about like, it does it well, it's like, yeah, I mean, if you have to do something, like...
Yeah. I would say, like, in that vein, you surprise yourself with how much you're capable of when you are called upon to do something.
Yep.
And it becomes absolutely necessary, right?
So, yeah, like, I never in a million years would I be like, oh, let me learn electric work or how to patch a drywall or lay flooring or do whatever. But when it's like, you have to,
right?
Then I want to, learn, do it right. That kind of thing. So I thought it was good.
No, I like that too. Yeah.
All right, number 5, last one here. A day of worry is more exhausting than a week of work. That's obviously very. I think that came very close right after our house flood.
No, I get that because worrying, right, and stress are limitless.
Yep.
Your mind can worry about anything to any degree.
Yeah.
Whereas work is a tangible...
Work is like, okay, hey, I'm doing this 9 to 5, hours, whatever. Yeah. Like worry, every waking second is just weighing down on you.
But then it compounds itself as well, right? Like, oh, this could go wrong. It could get worse, and it could be... You could
start making stuff up.
You're only limited by your imagination, like how bad everything could be, right?
Yeah.
So, but work is like tangible. And I would say that work done well and something that gives you fulfillment actually is good, payoff. Right? There's payoff, right? More than monetarily. Like it gives you purpose and
kills your health mentally, physically.
Oh yeah, worrying is really bad. No, those are good. Great fortunes, Tyler. I think.
Yeah, we typically take a look at them and it's just like, okay, most of them suck.
Yeah,
it's like, here's your lucky number. Yeah, it's like whatever. But those, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna save these. We'll see. So I'm gonna do that again this year whenever we get Chinese food.
I think we all learned a little something about ourselves, Ty.
A little bit.
I hope someone out there resonated with at least one of them.
Yeah, probably the do not try one, but that's fine.
Yeah, someone said that. I forget who.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for sharing with with the audience and me.
What else we got going on? Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna rip it off like a fortune cookie. Fantasy football is over.
Yeah.
And someone won.
I swear we talked about this already. Did we not?
No, because we skipped a week.
Yeah.
Maybe we did. But even if we did, I would like to say it again.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, for anyone who listened to us, knows that the final 2, the championship, as some might call it, was between Tyler and myself.
The home run hot dunks and the little ponies.
Thirsty ponies.
Thirsty ponies.
And it was a well-fought battle.
Sure.
But the thirsty ponies were victorious.
Quite handedly. Like, there was nothing. Like, I looked at my lineup and everything. It's just like, there wasn't anything I could have done better.
No.
So that, like, even that is enough solace in my mind where I'm like, I made all the right decisions.
Right.
I just got outplayed, which is fine. So congratulations, officially on the air.
Thank you. I might be the smartest person in the world, and I am definitely the best fantasy football player who has ever graced its presence.
Gracious winner, very humble,
Everyone else in my league is absolute dog water, and I lick them up like the big bad dog I am. Because I'm a beast.
What kind of dog are you?
A Doberman.
Oh, okay.
Don't fuck with me.
No.
Don't do it.
Absolutely not.
Anyways, so it was pretty easy money. I changed that group chat to ATM because they just give me money when I want it. And so I'm really looking forward to next year. I was actually going to come in today with some awards for my team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I know we're short on time, so I'm just going to be a dick and just be like, and most valuable player goes to, and most improved goes to, what are those called? What are those
participation trophies?
No. I forget what they're called.
I don't know.
There's a word for it.
What are you trying to? Okay, well, sure.
It's the end of the year, and there's different categories, and people win different.
Yeah, I don't know, game of the year.
In high school, what do they call that? Most likely to be president.
That's always yearbook stuff, right?
Yeah, but what's it called? There's a fucking name for it.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, it's on the tip of my prefrontal cortex.
Your Doberman tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. It'll come to me.
Research department, there's your fourth thing for this episode.
Oh, it's right there. I can't get it. All right, whatever.
I love watching it. All
right.
No,
it's right there.
You watch me do this on a constant basis, so I can finally...
Yeah. Anyways, so Tyler owes me dinner.
Yeah, so that's why every week now you're like, hey, we going to Thornhill? And I'm like, hey,
okay,
man, no calories.
Hey, look. I'm gonna give you a break. I'm not gonna request it. I know you're going through some tough times, but I won't forget.
No, here's the thing. I would even go out on a limb and say next Friday, let's just plan for it.
No, if you're not in a
all right, we'll talk. We'll
talk.
We gotta. I don't like to be in debt.
That's true.
So I need to get this off.
I don't actually care at all. I just I like being a dick sometimes. But anyways, that's the fantasy football update.
Yeah, congratulations.
Excited for next year when we do it again.
I am not.
I would like everyone to know too that I drafted my whole team drunk. I was at BJ's Brew House.
Yeah,
and I was fucked up, and I'm just drafting my team. I was with Calvin.
Yeah,
and we were just drafting together. And
Calvin was very hot this year. He was.
Oh, I was beating him was one of the highlights of my entire life. I mean, this guy was running his mouth all year, and I sat there patiently, not saying a word. And then my time came. My time came, Tyler. Semifinals. I get Calvin, and yes, it was easy.
Imagine
it was easy.
I feel bad for Will because ours was
Will was upset.
Yeah, we got kind of screwed on that, or he did anyway.
Yeah,
but
Will was upset.
Imagine playing Mike 3 times in a row.
Mike was upset too.
He was,
which makes me.
That's the second year. Me and Mike are always playing each other, back to back.
It's the rivalry.
I
love that. That's how you get the views, man. That's how you get.
I don't remember what happened last year though.
Me neither. I think Mike won. Mike, didn't he make a run? I forget.
He might have. I don't know.
Well, I'm excited for next year, of course. But
yeah.
Anyways, there's fantasy football.
We're just checking the boxes.
We're checking the boxes here. Did I hit all my things before we move into the core ones?
I think so.
Well, there's the video games ones. Did we want to talk about your idea and flesh that out? First? Or do we want to move to the video games first?
Let's talk about my idea. Let's get that out of the way.
So why don't you go over? You said it on the air before, but why don't you?
Yeah, just offhanded. I didn't really put too much thought into it, but I was saying how we're constantly saying you should really play this. Oh, you should really watch this. Whatever.
Although I will say I've stopped doing that because every time I do that, you turn around and say, "Yeah, that sucked."
Well,
and then I feel terrible, and I'm
no,
like, you know what? I'm just never recommending things
every time.
Not every time, but like 90% of the time.
89. Anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna allot a number of hours over the course of the year. It's still new year.
Yeah,
it's still January. That counts.
Yeah.
So over the course of the year, we're gonna decide together on a number of hours total that we can assign out to each other. It could be a game, it could be a TV show, it could be a movie. Do you want to say activity, or is it just like, I feel like we need to consume media?
So that's, I mean, there's going to be a negotiation about the finer details.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be, first off, I was thinking along the lines of media.
Okay.
But if you were thinking otherwise, I would be open to
hearing
you
I think that's
out.
fine. Like I was thinking, I mean, you could do like.
But if you make me start running and stuff, I will.
Yeah, because I'm like, you're gonna be like, hey, go to the gym, asshole. Like, okay. I would say consume media.
Yeah.
We'll say TV shows, movies, games. I'll assume books are off the table for you. You hate reading, right?
Love books off the table.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Do you care about audiobooks? Have you ever done an audiobook? Does that?
I have never done an audiobook, but I would be potentially open to it.
That's a lot. So like that's the thing is like it's like a 9-hour thing. That's a commitment.
Yeah, I could. I'm trying to think of a good time I could listen to it. Right. Let's keep that pending right now. Let's keep that pending.
Maybe even like a podcast. If you're like, oh, hey, this is really... we can keep it simple for right now. That's fine. So movies, TV shows, games. If there's some crazy thing like, oh, you have to do this, then we can expand it.
Negotiate. Yeah.
So you do those three. So then the $1 million question,
right?
Is how many hours are we talking?
That is the question that is important here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of factors that go into this.
You talk about the factors because I want to look up one figure, and this is going to kind of determine how much I'm fighting for a specific number.
Well, the thing is, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider, right? Like, if, we're assuming you have to finish the property, right? Or the piece of media. So if it's like a game, that fluctuates quite a bit.
I think something like that, though, you don't have to finish it. I think you can really say specifically hour allotment. So if it's like, hey, I want you to play, I don't know, Call of Duty for 12 hours.
Sure.
As long as you hit that 12-hour mark, and gentleman's agreement on like, you can't just let it run.
Right.
As long as you hit that mark, then if you enjoy it and you're like, I'm hooked, I'm going to keep going.
That doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of this fun little game of like, I know you're going to freaking love this TV show. I'm going to force you to watch 10 hours of it.
Right.
And then I know you're going to go for the next 30.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can be a dickhead and be like, I know you'll hate this.
And
you must watch the whole thing. But that's a lot of hours you're putting into it.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic.
I'm trying to find for instance, I'm trying to find the total number.
Now, is it also a gentleman's agreement that you finish it? Or I know that we were discussing yesterday a little bit that you would kind of summarize, the plot or whatever.
I'm not saying like, let's write a book report, but I want to at least have some sort of I think it's worth talking about.
Yeah. Well, in the summary of how you feel about it, right, in your review of it, you could probably tell whether they watched it or not.
Yeah.
But the funny thing for me is, what if you can not do it, but if the other person challenges you, and you didn't actually do it, there should be some sort of punishment.
There should be.
Yeah.
What do you think is the punishment?
I don't know. I would have to think about that.
Okay.
Punishments are always tough because there's a fine line between like good punishments and just
well, here's the problem. It has to fit the bill, right? So it's like, if I allot you, and I'm making this up, right? Like, hey, I want you to watch Naruto. How many hours is Naruto? Like
too many.
200 hours.
Too many.
So I'm like, hey,
there's like 500 episodes.
Yeah. So
times 20 minutes.
Do we say a drink an hour?
A drink an hour?
Yeah.
Oh, I owe you a drink an hour.
You owe me going out and getting a white
I'll pay for your drink. Yeah. I like that.
But it has to be per hour because it needs to be something along the lines of, because you couldn't just do like, hey, watch Naruto.
Sure.
If you don't, you owe me a drink. It's like, okay, I owe you a drink.
Yeah,
right. Just you're out.
Right.
But if it's 200 drinks.
What if you make it halfway though?
I mean, so what? Like that's not
then
like
you still owe the whole thing.
Yeah. Like the way I'm looking at it is we each are on the hook for let's throw a number out.
By the way, I'm not making you watch Naruto.
Thank you. That's let's throw a number out over the course of a year. I'm thinking like 300.
Whoa, 360 hours? It's an hour a day.
Yeah.
No,
150? 150 hours? Half we should take up an hour for half a year?
Yeah.
100. Okay, so we just do 150 hours.
Okay. That's a lot of hours.
But that's basically 150 drinks each. And for every hour that we don't complete, you owe the other person in that drink.
But if you don't use all your hours, which probably wouldn't happen anyways, that doesn't count though, right?
No, yeah, it's not like I just want the drink. Yeah,
hey, it's the fine details that get you tied.
That's on you. If you
don't
want to,
I had like 10 free drinks.
If you don't want to put the work in,
no, I got you.
150 hours can do some damage. So for reference, I looked up Peaky Blinders, which is on the docket.
Yep,
that's only like 36 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But you would
a chunk.
But that's the thing is that show's so good that you would be like, okay,
I'm gonna check to see because I have a very specific episode that I'm like, you'll be hooked here.
Sure.
I'm thinking it's maybe I'll give you like 10 and you're in.
10 and I'm in. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Is that up first? Is that lead off?
It might be.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think you're getting off the hook easy. Or what 100%. I do now, well, it's either that or I might pull out The Last of Us.
See, oh fuck you.
I know.
Oh fuck you. This is what we're talking about yesterday. Yeah. The thing I love about this activity is that Tyler knows I do not want to watch The Last of Us.
Yes.
I will fully admit, from everything I heard, sounds amazing.
Yes.
So glad people are liking it. I have been proved wrong. The adaptation, it can happen. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm not watching it. Fuck Last of Us. It is just oversaturated, milked to death.
I think that might be my.
But here's the thing that I love about this activity. Tyler will make me watch Last of Us, and I'm a petty bitch. I will pick something he will hate.
Here's the thing, though. I will not make you watch all of Last of Us.
No, I got you.
I'll
retaliate with the same amount of hours. Don't worry, buddy.
I want you to watch 2 hours. So I'm actually, now that I thought of it,
2 hours Last of Us.
I want you to watch the first 2 episodes.
Is that how many?
Do we round that up? So how does that work?
Well,
are we really going to keep
up? No, round it up.
Okay, because I think
make it easy.
I think the first episode's like an hour and a half, and the second episode's like 50. So it's really 2.5 hours what you're putting on there.
2.5.
So do we want to round to every half hour?
Up or down?
I would say we just round every half hour.
To half hour, so 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so then So
you're giving me 2.5.
Officially, I want you to watch the first 2 episodes of Last of Us.
That's your first official request?
Yep. And then you're off. And you're off the hook. And then you're done. You don't have to worry about it.
No,
do you have
fine.
HBO though?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. That's the only. That would be the other thing. Is like we're gonna have to figure out how to.
Yeah. We gotta make sure we can do it. But okay, I'm
Last of Us. Just to because I do want to talk about it with you, but that's why I kind of want you to at least take a look at it. I think that is a very smart TV show, and in all honesty, it actually makes me so angry that they made an Uncharted movie, but then made a Last of Us TV show. Because at that point, The Last of Us would have been awesome as a movie.
Right.
They should have done that. I think they were going to at one point. Uncharted would be amazing as a TV show. And they just fumbled that ball hard. But
Uncharted, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Uncharted was not good.
No.
It wasn't bad.
No,
I'll give it that. It was like Chelsea never played the game, and she was like, yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, but then I watched the Nathan Fillion short.
It's so much better.
And that was like, this is it. You had it.
Yep.
You had it right there.
Yep.
Free. Yeah, exactly. Wow. You can't do better than that.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yep.
That's so sad.
So that's my first thing.
That's your official request?
Yes.
Oh, man.
I don't know how we want to track that. We'll put it on the website somewhere. Right. We'll get it going.
Oh man, I want to.
Do we want to put a time? What's the time limit on that stuff? So do we say we can't? If you give me like a whatever, how many hours per week? I guess is my thing, right? So if we're having everything.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So like we do like a 7 day.
Well, there's
spread,
is there a time limit, or is that what you're asking? Like if there's a deadline?
Yeah, well that's what I'm saying. Like over the course, like if I just signed out 2.5 hours to you,
let's just play it by year.
Okay, I was going to say no more than 4 hours a week.
Yeah, no, but we can play it by ear. Let's just be, sensible about it.
Right,
yeah,
I feel like this
sensible.
Escalates.
So
yeah,
I can get that done by next Friday for sure.
Yeah.
All right, my first official request.
The beauty is, if you like those first 2 episodes, And see, this is where I'm thinking. This is where I'm thinking.
No. I like
the
this.
third episode comes out on Sunday.
Wow.
So
Really smart.
it's really just you're watching the first two.
I promise you on my life,
shut it off.
I'm never continuing it.
All right.
You will have to spend more points.
I'm not gonna. No, I'm not. I don't care about it that much.
Okay,
I just want to talk about it with you.
Okay, that's fair. We can definitely talk about it next Friday. All right, you ready for my first official request?
Yeah, you got it. Hit me. What do we got?
Well, again, we have to see if you're able to watch this. It says it's on Plex for free.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that's true.
Sure.
It's a little movie called Freddy Got Fingered.
Okay.
It's not an X-rated movie.
No,
okay?
I know. It's with Green.
Have you
right?
seen it? Have you seen it?
I don't think so. I've seen parts of it.
Okay, perfect. It's an hour and a half.
That's the perfect movie lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in. Oh,
done.
God.
All right. So I'll have that by next week.
Perfect.
I might have to get the Plex password again, but okay.
Actually, wait. Let me,
that's awesome.
You know what? I already submitted it. That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
I'll find it.
We're good. Yeah. Let me know. If not, I have another one in the docket.
Okay.
But
I need to come up with some sort of chart.
Yeah. Let's
some sort of like you remember like those old school like thermometers.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, hey, we have like 150 thermometer and you just see it like going up.
We should figure something out. But anyways, all right. I'm very excited about that activity.
Okay.
Not about watching The Last of Us, but the idea as a whole. Wow.
I think
already starting off on a terrible note.
No, it can only get
better.
You
could have started with Peaky Blinders. I would have been.
Peaky Blinders is going to take some time. You
wanted a quick hit.
I might change my strategy.
Okay.
But I want to give you a smattering of things. I want to give you a little taste of things.
I should have just hit you with anime every single time, and your 150 hours would just be straight beat you down to the ground.
Yeah, I mean, good.
I really could. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, well, we'll see how that goes.
I would love because you like one so much.
I like what?
You like Last of Us so much, like the first game.
I thought it was great.
Yeah. So I think we can have a really good discussion on how they adapted it, because I think they made a few changes that I think were extremely smart. I think the casting is incredible.
Yeah.
And I think I want your take on the music and stuff too, because I think everything just works.
Okay.
Anyway, all right.
Absolutely.
What else?
All right, now we prove that we're a video game podcast.
Okay, hit the quota.
And I would like to start with the Xbox Bethesda.
Oh, okay,
conference.
sure, yeah.
All right. So right off the bat, like we were talking yesterday, I think something that's notable is what was omitted from this, right? So Starfield, obviously, they announced that it's getting its own.
Yeah. Set expectations early,
right? Which is like you were saying last night. That's the way to do it, right? Right off the bat. Hey, this is not here. It's getting its own thing, own showcase, and so that's cool. And I think we'll probably get a release date. I would imagine in that showcase.
Didn't they give a release date, or did they just make it
well, not a date, right?
I thought they did. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I don't think so. I could be wrong too, but I don't believe.
I mean, they definitely gave it before, and then they pushed it anyway, so who knows?
And then was there something else that they said wasn't going to be there either? I can't remember now.
I don't know if they listed it out. Like, I mean, my personal thing is like, hey, show me Fable. Like, what you got going on there?
Oh, it was
going on
some
with Halo. What's going on with Gears of War? All that stuff.
Yeah, it was some other game too that's like in development. That's I forget what it is, but I guess some people were excited about that. They didn't announce anything on that. So anyway, so that's stuff that they weren't talking about. But there were a couple games, I think 5 if I'm counting correct.
Yeah, they did a cute little it had 4, and then during the animation they like scribbled 4 out and wrote 5. And I'm like, that's kind of neat.
Yeah,
like,
sure. So the first one up that I have on my list at least is Redfall.
Yeah, I think that was the headliner actually. I think they close with that.
I might not be in order because I did a recap. I didn't watch the whole thing, but so I'm in a little bit of different order. So I apologize.
The vampire game.
So first person shooter. I guess there's RPG elements with it, from what I could understand, but it looks okay.
I want to know what it like. It keeps making me feel like it's a Left 4 Dead or a Back 4 Blood-esque thing. That's not it.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I've heard that people are speculating it's like a Far Cry-esque, like an open world,
right?
traverse. There's all these points on the map, maybe like strongholds for vampires that you can go in and clear out, right? So that's kind of what people have been speculating, but I'm not sure.
I don't know how I feel about this game personally.
Me
and
neither.
that excites me typically because it's like, well, if it's not on my radar and it just comes out and it's a banger, like that makes me happier than if I'm like super, super jazzed about something and it makes like Dying Light 2 and then it falls below my expectations. So it's like, yeah, okay, we'll see. Like it's fine. It's better than zombies. Like I don't think I could take another zombie game.
Yeah.
So vampires are interesting, but
no, it'll be fascinating to see how that plays out. It's also co-op. So we can definitely play that together, which is a plus.
It'll be on Game Pass, so
it'll be
there's
on
no
Game Pass.
reason not to play
exactly.
it. Yeah,
that's the biggest thing, right? If it's on Game Pass, there's zero reason, like you said.
Yeah.
So Redfall, we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I mean, the visuals look fine.
Yeah.
It looks.
I think the trailers, like the CGI trailers, look awesome. Like whenever they first did that, I was like, this looks sick. And then now that I'm seeing actual gameplay and stuff, I'm like,
you're like,
okay,
that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. So second one, which I don't really care about, is the Minecraft Legends. Which is, I guess, a separate game. It's not like an expansion or anything. My understanding is it's a separate game.
Yeah, it's like a defense game and stuff, and it's like kind of like
it's like PvP focused, and from what I saw in the brief,
it looked like Rust. In a weird way. It's like, okay, we're going to band together. Like, that could be kind of fun, depending on how the combat is and stuff. Like, I could mess with that. Again,
it kind of looked like a RTS in a way, right? Where you have like two castles and people are building shit. I don't know. It's very interesting. That's not up my alley, but I don't know if you had any excitement.
I do. I don't know if... Here's the problem with that. I do.
Okay.
I don't know if we have enough friends that also do.
Right.
In which case, then I just lose out.
Like I would participate.
Yeah.
But you're right. If we don't have like a team, like I feel like you need like 8 people.
You need a crew that is on the same page. Where like, hey, we're gonna play this for a week and trash some noobs.
But, I think we're the noobs.
Well, you still gotta trash them.
Yeah, I know. But that was interesting. And then Elder Scrolls Online. So I guess they come out with an expansion like every year.
Yeah, which I guess that makes sense because it does seem like every year Green Man Gaming is sending me an email like, hey, there's something new coming out.
Yeah.
Like that MMO, like that's I think, aside from Star Wars Galaxies, I believe that is my favorite MMO. I'm way behind on expansions because like if you don't pay for it, it's not. I think you need to pay for it.
Okay.
Yes, it's technically free. It's
not worth it.
It's like Star Wars, right? Like you have to pay the $15 to actually get the full experience.
Right.
I just feel that.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, they said that everything, at least for a limited time, everything's free up to the current expansion.
Oh, okay.
So if you have the base game, you can literally play everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
And then you have to pay per month for the expansion, or how does it work? Or is it an extra payment?
It's still technically free. You still have to buy the game. So every year they come out with the expansion. You have to buy that expansion. It's kind of like Destiny, where you have to buy like the expansion for it. But then it's not a subscription.
But it's still
it can be.
It can be, and you think it has to be for it to be worth it.
I think to get the full benefits of it, because and it's been a while since I played it. Whenever I was playing, it was like you get a stipend to use in like the online shop for cosmetics, and you get like you can hold unlimited crafting materials, and you can do you can have housing, and you can have like a bonus XP boost. Don't quote me on that, but I think stuff like that. You know, like it's just like everything is just smoother, and it truly does feel. It's like, oh, this is where the game's supposed to be played. You just put it on like hard mode if you don't do that. Everything just takes a little bit longer. You have to grind a little bit more. That's how I felt playing it anyway. They could have changed it since then.
Well, in Star, so I've never played it, so I don't know. But in a comparison, like Star Wars, The Old Republic, it was just annoying not to pay for it.
Exactly.
Right? Like you can't fast travel, or your cooldown's like 4 hours to go back to your ship or something like crazy, which I hate. But dude, I just think I don't understand. Like the Guild Wars model is. Do you not make enough money that way? I guess not. I mean, if people are willing to pay per month, you're just milking it in. But
that's it there.
Yeah, but okay. Guild Wars, you pay once like any other game, and then you pay for the expansions like any other game. Wouldn't you think that more people would go with that model, or are they just trying to farm the hardcore MMO fans where it's like they're used to paying per month? they're okay with that, and that's what they do. I just hate that
if that's the only game you're playing, maybe they're not subscribed to Game Pass, maybe they're not doing XYZ, and it's just like, hey man, $15 a month, and I literally have unlimited content to play. Sure,
Game Pass,
more power to. No, I'm talking like Elder Scrolls, like
Elder Scrolls.
like they could be. That's what they pay for and play for, and like, that's it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess I'm a little bit hypocritical with Game Pass, but Game Pass is such an incredible value that I think it's just totally different. Where it's $10 a month, and
But how many of those games do you actually play? Like, you have a million games,
but it's
the
what
option.
It's the options. And you know this better than everyone.
I know.
We just took a look at your Steam stats.
Yeah, my Steam stats aren't great. Maybe that's another episode.
14K, I think.
18.
Yeah. 18K?
If you bought all my games at current prices as of last night.
Yeah.
That's not. Yeah, it's not a proud thing.
That's amazing.
I'm also.
It was in red too, which
I've
was
only
awesome.
played 47% of the games I own.
Yeah, that was
Steam.
funny too.
Yeah.
But anyways, so maybe it's just a me thing. Like I just I don't like that model because I like the ownership factor of it. I like to own the game, and even if because everyone says, well, you can stop your subscription, and it's like it's annoying stopping and starting, and I just want to own the game, and then if I ever feel like playing it, I can just boot it up, and I have it, and it's mine, and it's good to go.
I guess my thing is, and again, don't quote me on this, I think the subscriptions, the way it works, is you're always one behind. I don't know if Guild Wars is like that too, where if you buy the new one, you get all the other ones or something like that. Like
I'm
there's
not
some
sure.
sort of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I will say they continuously put out new stuff. They continuously are changing. Clearly, they're doing something right. So, like, on one hand, if people are willing to pay for it because it's a good product, more power to you, man. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, if it, and I'm not saying the product's bad because of the pricing model. I'm just saying I dislike the monthly model.
Yeah, because I feel like that's all I can play.
But that extends past video games. I just hate that in life in general because
that's life now. Like it's
I know, but I hate it because it's like a leech, man. It's like you have all these things. Like at first, it's like, oh, it's $5 a month. That's nothing. But how many of those add up? And now you're paying $500 a month.
I mean, Disney raised their prices. Apple raised their prices. I mean, it's only $1 here and there. But Netflix is now. I mean, I was paying $7 for Netflix. Now it's $20. Like, come on. Yeah, absolutely.
Creeps up, and I just hate it. And I'd rather pay a lot upfront, lump sum, own it. So, anyways, that was a deviation. But Elder Scrolls Online, people always like that game. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about, which I personally am super excited for, is Forza Motorsport 8.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like racing games. I bought the whole setup, got the wheel, the stick shift, the
Can you imagine if that
pedals.
wasn't compatible?
With what?
I'm sure it will be with Forza.
Okay. I would cry.
I'm sure you would,
and then sell it all. I mean, what am I doing at that point?
Like,
anyways,
games.
So I've always been more of a fan of the motorsports than the Horizon, although I do enjoy Horizon quite a bit, just because I like that realistic aspect to the motorsport. And I feel like it's always a little bit more in depth with the cars as well. It's more about the cars than the arcadey nature of it. So this game looks fucking sick, dude. Right. It looks so good. Over 500 cars on release.
Which, that's 100 more than previous.
Oh, yeah. That's a ton. Ray tracing in the game, like live while racing, which is not. I mean, they had ray tracing previously, like in the showroom when when you're looking at your cars, and they look fantastic. But now live racing, you're gonna get ray tracing. They talked about all this fancy stuff with the visuals that I have no idea, like color and things of that nature, like the dynamic weather and lighting. Time of day stuff, which is awesome, and the audio design, which is always a huge aspect to those kind of games as well. So they talked a lot about that stuff, which
did they say they were retooling that?
Yeah,
I feel like they always say
the word of the day was from the ground up.
Ground up,
yeah, exactly. So they said that like a million times. So yeah, they were. I don't know what software they were using. I think Windows. What's it called?
It's not Atmos.
No, it's I forget what it is, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Anyways, so that's what they were utilizing along with something else to really get crispy audio.
Yeah.
But no, for racing games, man, audio design is so key, right?
Imagine if you have a good pair of headphones.
Oh,
Get like that high fidelity stuff, man.
fantastic. Anyway, so I'm super duper excited for that. They did not have a release date for it.
Yeah, and it's not numbered, right? It's just called Forza Motorsport.
I thought it was 8. I could be wrong.
It's the 8th one, but whenever they flashed the title up,
just
I didn't
Okay.
see an 8 unless it was like baked in and I just missed it.
I might have not been paying attention to that, but
I never heard them say
possible.
8. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. But no, I'm super stoked for that.
Mhm.
The customization looks awesome. There's a big emphasis on like the car damage and stuff and wear, and it looks. I mean, obviously they're only going to show the best parts of it, but it looks fantastic. Here's what I'm worried about. As they always say, they're like, oh, we're going to push the hardware to the limits. And on Xbox, you're going to be able to run this 60 frames at 4K. And I'm just like, there's no fucking way, right? Like,
I mean, the other ones were 60 frames 4K. It's the ray tracing that I have questions on.
That's what I'm saying with this specifically, right? Like, it's like, this seems like it's going to be.
Did they say ray tracing at 60? Or was ray tracing an option?
They might not have, right? So that's going to be the key distinguishing factor. But since we are PC, we don't really have to worry about that.
True. Yeah.
But
dude, ray tracing is just so it is so bad. Like it just destroys your frame rate where it's not worth it, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah. Like to my knowledge, right now, Fortnite is the only game. Maybe I'll give you Control, but Fortnite's the only game where I'm like, holy cow, this is worth it.
I see. So the quality improvement. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, so and I don't want to get off topic, but the only reason why ray tracing stuck in my head is I did boot up The Witcher because I was like, I want to see what it looks like and stuff. And I'm not saying ray tracing is bad, but like how jittery and how terribly it ran when I had ray tracing on,
it's not worth it.
Versus shutting off ray tracing, but everything else is maxed out to Ultra Plus. Like not even just Ultra, but they added a Plus version to it. And it's just like, no, the artists go in and hand paint all not him, you know what I mean? Like they're the ones putting everything where it is. Now, is it like 100% accurate to real lighting situations? No. Does it look as good as a screenshot from ray tracing? No. But I would take a 120 frames a second fluid, perfect moving game than like this stuttery mess with ray tracing. So like your concerns with Forza, absolutely warranted because like you need the frame rate.
Oh yeah, especially in a racing game, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
so like you're not
key.
like it could look amazing, but then like put ray tracing in the the showcase car garage or whatever, like they did with Horizon and just go from there. But
I guess the only thing I'll disagree with on this one is that I think in a game like a racing game specifically, where obviously cars are very reflective, right? And that's a key aspect into why they look so good, why they're so nice. When you have a nice car with a glossy finish and you can just see your face in the reflection, man. I think, if done well, it'll be awesome. But you're right. What's the hit I'm going to take on my performance? Can I be at over 60 frames steady with that on? So we'll see. I'm very curious. I think the bar is very high from what they're showing and saying, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see if they deliver on that.
Especially
Nonetheless,
the reflections, though. That's the thing, though, is like they had reflections before.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going 100 plus miles an hour and you see a car near you or whatever, and there's kind of like a reflection in your thing, like, are you going to notice the difference between the two?
Maybe not.
Like in actual gameplay?
I feel like it should be a lot more crisp, right? I mean, I would have to, I'd have to go to like Forza Horizon and compare it to that, right? Because those are the two most recent ones and see. But
I could be wrong. I'm fairly certain that reflections are the hog when it comes to bandwidth. So like when you turn on like real time reflections, that's when your stuff tanks.
Oh yeah.
Shadows we're always like shadow map resolutions and things like that always kind of hit stuff and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, to your point, everything's reflective. So that means that like how many calculations are they doing? How many light bounces are they doing? Because now you like when you really think about it, now if your red car, because all the cars are like brilliant colors and everything like that. So now if you have your red car and if I don't know what implementation they're doing with ray tracing, But if light's hitting the red car and it's bouncing off onto the blue car, now does it suddenly have some sort of like purple hue like on the ground because of the reflection of the sun and stuff? Like, how crazy are they getting?
And what they were describing as well is like indentations in the car and stuff are going to be less affected than obviously like a flat, like the calculating all of these different factors. Physics is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think it's actually more power to them. And like Forza always did that.
Yeah, 100%.
Like they always kind of said like, I mean, this was way back with the Xbox One X.
Right.
Man, I don't even know what they're on now, but the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
And it was just like, 4K 60, here you go. And it's just like, it blew people away because it's like, how could you do this?
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. So I don't know. I think, something I'm worried about too, and this kind of ties into our next topic for Forspoken, is that minimum requirements are getting crazy.
Yes.
Like the minimum requirement on that game is like a 3070 or something, which is just wild.
So that one is a huge jump.
Right.
And we'll talk about that.
We'll get there. We do have one more in the Microsoft conference.
But that's the thing is like, when you're talking about minimum requirements, it's easy to be like, this is the minimum requirement for it to like kind of run fine.
Right.
And it all is about optimization. Right. But then I would love to do a deep dive at some point in like the community's expectations. Because if you're a dude that likes PC gaming and your card's like pretty low tier, I mean, we always stay up on that stuff more often than like we're typically not more than a couple of years behind on that stuff.
Right.
But Joe Schmo that has like a low graphics card, of course he's going to bitch that like, these are too high. This is ridiculous. It's not well optimized. It's like, or maybe you just have an old card. I would love to know what that line is, like what that threshold is. Because Steam puts out their surveys all the time, right? It's like, hey, can we do a survey on your hardware test? And I forget what the main one is, but it's like a 1080 or something like that. It's like what most people, like users have.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the line is or kind of the correlation between the two, but I feel like there is a big gap there on what's acceptable and what's not.
Yeah. No, it's all fair.
All right, I'm sorry. Hit me with the last one.
So the last one, which you were talking about and seemed pretty excited for, or were surprised about, is Hi-Fi Rush, which is it's a rhythm game, I guess, but kind of like a hack and slash as well.
Yeah, did you take a look at it?
I did.
It looked neat, right? Like
the art
weird.
style is very cool. It's very comic book-esque, and like the rhythm game component to it is interesting. Obviously, a lot of that comes down to the music in the game, right?
Yeah.
Like the music's got to be really good.
Yep.
But I liked it. I thought it really popped and was very intriguing.
Yeah. Whenever I hear music stuff, I immediately think of you because I'm like, I wonder if I'll like this.
Yeah. They didn't really. I mean, from what I saw, like I said, I saw a recap. So maybe in the actual show they showed off the music a little bit more. But
it was hard to understand how to play the game. Like some games, like you're watching like God of War. It's like, okay, I know how. I get it.
Right.
With this one, it was like it was almost like mini games and different perspectives. And so I'll be very interested. Like I have it downloading, but like I'll be very interested to see how it actually play. Oh, I guess I spoiled the surprise saying I have it downloading. But
I was surprised. I thought.
Oh, we didn't say it was coming out today. It came out today. That was a cool thing. They announced it and they dropped it. But what was I saying? I would be interested because it is so drawn and comical or comic-y, I guess would be the way of saying it. But I didn't understand what was going on the screen. I'm sure when you're playing the game, it all makes sense to you, but it was a tough game to watch and be like, cool. It just looked like a bunch of colors just exploding everywhere.
Yeah.
Looked super neat.
Yeah.
But I want to see what it is. The one, I think there were only like 2 reviews up by the time, because I was like, I just want to see kind of what the temp is for this. And that's temperature. That's short for, okay. And
Thank you.
And one of them was just saying like the timing is way more generous than what you would consider a typical like rhythm game.
Sure.
Which is like music to my ears. Pun intended.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I want it to be just fun and dumb. And like if stuff responds to music and stuff like that, awesome. I've played games like Thumper, like Pistol Whip and stuff, where like the game is pulsing to a beat and you have to like hit certain things, like Crypt of the Necrodancer and stuff. It's fine. I'm just not good at it, and I typically fall off those games pretty quickly. So I have some high hope for this one.
Yeah, no, I have to check it out. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And it's out, which means we got to play it.
These are the devs that made Evil Within. I never played that game. I heard it was a very B tier, just like horror, like a not even like a Resident Evil wannabe. It's just like kind of like, here's a horror game, and they made 2 of them. And then for this to just come out randomly, and it's just like, oh, it's the weird guys that okay, sure. And then at the end they're just like, and you can download this right after the conference. And everyone's like, okay, cool, yeah. So I'm happy they did that. That was kind of a cool move. I mean, I think Xbox did it perfectly. I think to give somebody, right? Like, give them instant gratification, show them what's coming within, and setting expectations up front, saying, hey, we know you're really happy for this, Starfield. It's going to be a big thing. We'll get there. We'll do it later. How about we focus on these 5 first?
Yes.
And if that doesn't appeal to you, cool. Don't watch it, whatever. But, like, at least you're not like, I can't wait to see what's Fable and Starfield and all these games. And then you watch it and it's just like, where was Gears of War, Right.
So. I feel like PlayStation never does that.
I have been so disappointed with PlayStation. The only thing with PlayStation was Tekken 8, where I'm just like, oh yeah, I could mess with some Tekken 8. Okay, cool.
You love some Tekken.
I do, yeah.
But yeah, overall, exactly. I have the same thoughts.
And I don't even like. I shouldn't say I don't like Forza. Forza Horizon, I have some fun with.
Yeah.
Mainline Forza, that is so far beyond me in terms. Like, I don't find the fun in that. I completely understand where you're coming from with it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, even that was just watching it, seeing what went into it, how people were passionate about it. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
I will watch this. I'm not, it's not like I'm watching the new Madden where they're trying to explain, oh, it's a new way of tackling.
Oh
my
God.
Okay, sure.
And now we've added hit stick.
Remember these 12 modes?
Yeah.
Now we added the back end. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh man. So no, great conference overall. Not great, but good conference overall.
It's
I like the structure. I think Microsoft's been doing pretty well.
I think Microsoft is looking at Nintendo and being like, oh, they get people pumped with these just short hits like this. Like they should just keep doing that.
Keep up with the community, right? Just keep the conversation alive, right? Keep that fire going, right? So I think you're exactly right. All right, moving on. This is something. Actually, let's do this. So I hinted at it a little bit. Forspoken, our first game on the Couch Company list that we're going to play this year. Keeping up with games for 2023. A little bit of a change that happened here. So. We saw the reviews on OpenCritic. It's not looking great.
Yeah.
So Tyler and I put our heads together, and it's like, look, this game's $70. That's a lot of money. And, do we really want to pay $70 for a game that's not getting great reviews?
So to be fair, and this is just a quick thing, I did play the demo before the game came out and before the reviews hit.
Yes.
So, like, for me, it was, I played the demo, and I'm like, oh. Then the reviews came out, and it's like, oh, these are in line with what I was thinking. Yeah. So keep it going. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. It's not like we had zero experience with it.
Sure.
I did not. So I was just based off the reviews, but that's a fair point. You were telling me kind of your thoughts as well. So anyways, we kind of talked about it, and our, kind of resolution was, all right, let's play the demo. It's free, both of us. And then play it at a later date when it's on sale inevitably because it's not good.
We don't want to only play good games. But we also don't want to throw $70 away for games that maybe aren't.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Fantastic.
Like, Tyler was talking to me about this. All these reviewers are getting these games for free, right? Like, we can't afford to just pay $70 for every. Like, we had a fair number of games for just January through March, right?
Right.
And a lot of those are AAA $70.
Mm-hmm.
And you just can't justify it if it's
Yeah, I mean, we'll be selective. It's not like so we'll still play it. Like I think I got a pretty good idea of the loop of that game when we played it on the demo. That being said, it's still like I don't want all our reviews to be this middle. Like, hey, we think everything's an 8, or we only play 8s and higher, or something like that.
No, 100%.
I feel like I think it's good for us to have a range and to critically look at bad games, because I fundamentally believe even bad, which I'm sure we'll talk about here in a minute, even bad games or maybe not like, crazy good games, they still have good qualities. Sometimes they have unique qualities. It's like, oh, hey, they did this. They maybe didn't get it fully polished, but I would love to see more of this or something along those lines. So I think it's worth at least trying out. But that's a very quick, like, all right, whenever there's a lull later in the year, we pull that up and do it. Because, I mean, we have... not to jump ahead, but Fire Emblem came out, so we grabbed Fire Emblem. Dead Space just came out today as we're recording this. So like we have other games to play that maybe warrant a little bit more of a more immediate look.
No, 100%. But here's the problem as well is Moist Critical just came out. He just played the game on stream, right? And he had this like 50-minute video today of pretty much his highlights of playing the game.
Forspoken.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have pretty much seen the game.
Oh, so you just saw everything? Okay.
So I've seen everything.
Fair enough.
So I can abstain from speaking about it, but from playing the demo, understanding the mechanics of the game, and then seeing what the story is, I do have thoughts about it. So
I mean, let's jump in, right? Like let's check out the. I mean, we played the demo. I played it on PlayStation and I actually downloaded it on PC just because I was curious.
Yeah,
I played it on there too. So
I just played it exclusively on PC. Because by the time I played the demo, it was out on PC. So
yeah, it was so weird. The demo didn't even come out on PC until the game released.
Well, I mean, it's a PlayStation property, right? So they're probably pushing it
maybe
for
it's like a limited thing.
But anyways, so where would you like to start? I think I guess I'll start visually. I think the game doesn't look that bad actually.
I think it's very inconsistent.
Yeah, were you getting that too, where you would get kind of frame drops at certain points?
Well, that I think is a little bit more technical. I think
that's what I'm saying.
I feel like it's just dead, and maybe and you gotta know, and we'll talk about this in a second.
Yeah,
I'm just coming out of Horizon, so I've been playing Horizon for the past 65 hours. So I'm playing that game that is lush and varied and everything else, and I'm jumping into this game that is essentially a flat grassland, and I couldn't get into it. So that was kind of where my issue was. Technically speaking, if you turn on anything but performance mode on PS5, it just runs like terribly. Like it's supposed to be a lock 30, it's not a lock 30. It's garbage.
Right.
PC ran okay, but again, we have baller cards where it's like, okay, we pushed it.
Yeah.
But the minimum, I think, is the minimum spec 3070? That's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
That's like the majority of people do not have a 3070.
Yeah.
So that's just, you're just, yeah. Well, now you know why it's just struggling on PS5.
Yeah, I think the cutscenes are good. I think some lighting is good. For whatever weird reason, is the way that it's lit. Anything that a person was wearing that's white actually looks okay. Like it actually looks real. Just the way that the light's hitting it. Everything else just looks just bland. I don't know. It just felt empty, and it was like, oh, here's all these different points and stuff that you can do.
Right.
On PlayStation, it just felt very just open and just kind of aimless, and it's almost like it invoked Elden Ring, but in a bad way. Where Elden Ring, Elden Ring was like, everything was interesting, and it gave you this little like intrigue of like, hey, look at that. Let's see what's over here, because there was something interesting to look at. Where this game, it was just like, here's just flat and some trees, and when you get close enough, then you see some enemies maybe pop in, or maybe you see like a little chest on the ledge or something like that, and it's just like, I don't know.
I agree. So what's a common theme about my thoughts about this game is that it's just boring.
Lifeless. Yeah.
It's just boring. Yeah. Like it's a big fantasy world, open world, but it's just, there's no character to it. There's no spark to it, I guess, right? It's just like generic fantasy world.
Yes.
AI generate, please. Like, you know what I mean? It's so I totally agree with that. I don't think the visuals are that bad, at least on PC. I like the character models. I thought the lighting was fine, things like that. I know that PS5, like you said, when you put it on performance mode, it just tanks. Or not performance, excuse me,
quality
mode.
Yeah.
It just tanks.
And ray tracing is even worse.
But
did you ever play Final Fantasy 15?
That's the one with the car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You booted it up, right?
Yeah.
Same engine. Same people.
Right. Which is shocking.
Final Fantasy 15 looks
so much better.
Significantly better.
But is that because there was more purpose put into that world? There was more.
Look, man.
You know what I mean?
Sure. I don't know. And I hate critiquing in a way of like just bashing people's work. Right, because if I worked on something, people are bashing
that's what it means to be critical.
No, I know, but that's the thing is I just don't understand it, because when did that game come out? How many years ago did that game come out? And it's just like, okay, and they
the interesting thing
worse?
about this game too is the history of it. It was like a engine demo for a long time, right? And then it kind of took form into
like
this
10
game
years ago or something.
Right, it's been like a decade in the making where they used it as a demo, I guess, right? To show off the new engine or hardware or something. But
it was the Luminous engine.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, it is pretty interesting, but extending like the boringness of the world just extends into every aspect of this game. Like it's like there's this whole fantasy world, and the freaking they just tell you everything, and it's like it's just fantasy jargon, man. It's just so
like they make you want to. So again, keep in mind,
tiring.
We are the way I understand the demo. Apparently, because you get the earth magic and the fire magic.
Yeah.
Apparently, you don't even get the fire magic until like a third of the way through the game.
Oh no, that's a huge problem too. It's like
but what I'm saying is like
which is the
where
first,
we are is if that's a third of the way through the game, then they had to be like, hey, here's everything that happened. So I'm hoping that the pacing maybe at least kind of like opens up to you. You start getting an idea of like, oh, okay, so like you were from New York and then you got pushed into this realm and you're this badass New Yorker chick, like whatever, like that's all fine. But them giving just this giant exposition of just like, here's what you should care about.
Well,
I don't know.
So you don't want me to talk about any points that you haven't gone to yet?
No. Go ahead.
Okay, so essentially, it's just. I mean, I'm going to keep it general, but you get to the world, right, and they're telling you everything. It's like this is blah 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 blah.
Who's telling you?
Just every character in the game.
Okay, so it's not just like, again, not to keep going back and forth on the game versus demo, but like the demo, it was like they did a quick cutscene. No,
I played the demo. Right. No, it's not.
But you're
that.
talking the actual characters are giving.
Yes, it's just all exposition. It's all like, this is the land of blah blah blah, and it's
like you're playing a D&D game.
It really is like it's your first D&D game ever.
Yeah,
it's just so generic, and they explain everything. Every character you meet, it's like I am blah blah blah, son of blah blah blah, land of blah blah blah, and we have the power of friendship and this and that. And I don't know, it's just super boring, and there's no life to it. So that's a huge problem, but the bigger problem to me is my God is the main character so unlikable.
Yeah.
She is so unlikable. It is just crazy. And there's just like so few redeeming qualities.
Yep.
Because if you have an unlikable character, and the reason she's unlikable is because she's just a dick to everyone. Like just literally everyone she meets, she's just absolute dick.
Yeah.
And for like no reason, by the way. And that's not a problem if there's a character arc, but throughout the game, she doesn't change ever.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to note too that in this game, obviously the bracelet, it's you as the girl, and then the bracelet, which gives you your like magic powers.
Yeah, you
just
just
the sentient bracelet thing. There's this dynamic where they're talking to each other, and that's like the core dynamic of the game. Kind of like not like a buddy cop movie, but kind of the same vein. I think that's like what they're trying to go for. Like they're ribbing at each other, but it's just she's just mean to it.
Yeah,
and he's just like, I told Tyler this. It reminds me of what's his face from Portal 2,
Steven Merchant.
Yeah, but it's just like not a budget version.
Good. Yeah.
So
it's Steven Merchant meets Jarvis.
So I'm gonna spoil something. So if you don't want to hear this, skip ahead, I guess. But so you're like a dick to everyone. You're like, oh, I don't care about this world and blah blah blah. I'm just trying to get home. And you're going throughout the game. There's the big bad, and you're like the only savior, right? You're the only one who can save everyone. It's just the most generic plot ever,
right?
And there's this point where you're like your friend. She's like your first friend that you meet in this world, and she like broke you out of prison, and she's like supposed to be your best friend in this new fantasy world. Is like, because you're sitting there bitching about, oh no, the person that could get me home died, and now I'm not going to be able to get home, and I fucking hate this place. And then she walks in, and she's like, well, that person was my dad. How do you think I feel? And she's just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. You guys suck. I hate it here. And she's like, yeah, it's insane. I was like, and Tyler, this is like 3/4 through the game.
That's crazy.
And there's no development. And she's like, dude, like, you only care about, like, your friend is like, you only care about yourself.
Yeah.
And you're just a bad person. Like,
was that the catalyst? Like, are they trying to set it up where, oh, I see the error of my ways, or she just keeps going?
Well, yeah, that's what I thought it was setting up here.
Yeah.
It's like, you're so selfish and you don't care about us. We don't get to leave this place. This is our home, and you don't want to save us and you're the only one who can, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, fuck you guys. I don't give a shit if you live or die.
Yeah.
Like, literally, that's what she says. I don't care if this place burns or.
That's crazy.
It's just like, you're just an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. So anyways, she leaves, and then the bracelet's like, hey, her father just died. And she's like, I don't care. Wow. Like, why do I care? Anyways, so
at least give an option, maybe, if you want to play it that way,
right,
like where it's just like, I don't care, or like a Paragon, or
anyways. So you keep playing, and then it turns out the big spoiler, the bracelet's evil.
What?
Yeah, the bracelet's evil, and he tricked you the whole time, and blah blah blah. And now you don't have powers anymore, and you're talking to, I don't know, your mom or fucking something. I don't remember, but
that's actually a pretty big spoiler. I'm kind of like upset that I did that.
Oh, sorry.
Good.
So where was I at? Oh, you're talking to someone, and you're like, I can't do anything. I can't save anyone. I don't have my powers anymore.
Yeah.
And here I thought, this is my one chance to be the hero and save everyone. It was like, bitch, what?
You could
literally 10 minutes ago you were just talking about you don't give a fuck about anything. What? It was there was
not very heroic.
There was no path.
So woe is me.
Yeah, it was like, now I can't save everyone and blah blah blah. It was so poorly written, Tyler. Yeah. I had to get that off my chest because I was watching this and I'm just like, this is. And look, I will admit, I didn't watch the whole thing through. It was the highlights of it.
Sure.
But the person who was playing it was saying the same things, and he was playing the whole game. So it's like, it just was not good. It was just not good.
How did you feel about the combat? So I do want to talk about some positive stuff. So like,
sure.
I think the traversal was okay. Like,
it
was fun to run.
The best
around.
part of the game for me is the parkour.
Yeah.
Top 5 game mechanic, some might say.
The only caveat to that would be, as you're going like up a mountain, I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. I was just button mashing, and she just kind of kept cartwheeling up occasionally.
Yeah.
Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
Right. There's some and places
it just doesn't do a good job explaining how to do that. So it's like, when it's working really well, and it feels really good. And I think more games should do that.
Right.
But when it doesn't, and you just like fall off a cliff, then it's like, well, I don't know. I don't think there's fall damage. Is that accurate? I feel like I've jumped off a mountain and I just landed and everything's like fine.
Yeah, no, there's no fall damage.
Yeah, so, but the thing that annoyed me is every time I did that, the bracelet's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And it's just like, I'll live or whatever. And it's just like, but you're fine.
Yeah.
So like, who cares?
I don't know.
You can turn off the banter, or at least turn it down, which is good because I was getting so annoyed at all that stuff. Like, everyone's floating all those videos around where she's like talking to the bracelet, and he's like, "Oh, that's what you sound like, and that's what you sound like." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
it's like, F you.
Yep.
And everyone's like, "Oh, it's so cringe." I'm not saying it's the best written dialogue, but that's still better than anything in the demo. Like, by far.
Right.
So it's like in context and like, oh, that's how people speak. And I think Kevin reached out on Twitter to get like, like, hey, what do you think about this or whatever? Just because it's how people speak, and I agree with you, it's like, doesn't make it good dialogue. Like, it doesn't make it good. I don't know.
Well, there's a reason, Tyler, why movies aren't directly realistic, right? Because it's a performance. It's entertainment. It's supposed to be a little bit false, right? Because it's structured. But either way, I think the dialogue is bad. I don't think it's quippy. I don't think it's funny. I don't.
On one hand, it's like, oh, you're in a new world, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I moved to this with my mind. Like, I freaking moved. Like, cool.
Yeah. I don't know. It didn't hit for me.
Yeah, it didn't either.
Didn't hit for me.
But again, that's still better than anything that they were quipping about. Meanwhile, like, you play something like God of War, you play something like literally Horizon, God of War, Uncharted, like,
Tyler, I go back to Portal 2,
yeah, exactly.
which was made in what, 2011?
11, maybe, yeah.
the main character's not even talking. It's a one-sided conversation, and it's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
But I mean, that's one of the best. So maybe not a fair comparison. But anyways,
did you like the combat?
It was okay.
I
very generic.
Hated the combat.
Really?
I hated.
What about it? Didn't
system.
You like?
Swap him, and it's crazy, right? Like, it's absolutely insane that I hated that. Meanwhile, Horizon's not much different.
Yeah, you get to slow down.
And Doom's not that different. But for whatever reason, swapping between the things and slowing stuff, I couldn't stand it. And it's the exact same system. I know that I'm being ridiculous with that stuff. Couldn't stand it. I will say, however, playing on PC with the Xbox controller, so much nicer than PlayStation. PlayStation was a slog with the adaptive triggers.
Yeah.
You have to turn those off.
Okay.
They are terrible.
They just inhibit you.
It's fatiguing. And I know that's so lame. It makes my fingers tired.
Yeah.
Like, it's seriously fatiguing. It feels like just you're slogging through something. It's not responsive. It doesn't feel like, oh, I click this in and I do a thing. It's like I have to fight with this trigger just to power something up. And like at PlayStation, I'm learning is just like every little thing you do causes a vibration. So if I'm like running, every step is like, and it's just like that can be okay. Horizon did it, God of War did it, but this game, for whatever reason, man, I was like, I hated playing every second of the combat on PlayStation. Still didn't enjoy it on PC, but night and day better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was fine. I just feel like they threw too much at y'all at once, and they're just like, do all these things.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. So I don't think it was very good. But is it the worst game ever? No, but there was just a lot of aspects of it I just really didn't like. And you're exactly right. Like, I just came off of God of War. You just came off of Horizon.
Yeah,
just masterpieces. So it's like, is that fair? But that's just the reality of the industry, right? I mean, that's who you're competing with. So I don't think it's unfair to, you know what I mean?
Especially if, and again, this is demo, I get that. But if the demo is literally like, it's just open world and you're just going to kind of go and collect things. I am a sucker for a collectathon. You know this.
Yep.
But I could not just get... I
also wanted to mention that the story takes place in, like, this is all spoiler stuff, but which I've already ruined for you. I apologize. I didn't know that you actually wanted to... But the story takes place in, like, one part of the map when you have this huge map, which I just find hilarious. Like, there's no reason to explore this world. Like, it's all in, like,
I'm assuming that's all, like, side quest stuff. It's like, oh, hey, check. Oh, okay, yeah.
It's just so weird to me. Like, wouldn't the philosophy for an open world game be like the story takes you all over?
Path around, and then if you want to branch off those paths, sure. But
no, it's like all in one little region.
It's so weird.
And then that's
I don't know. Odd choice.
Anyways,
like Final Fantasy 15 is very good.
Oh yeah,
it's very good.
It's very good.
Okay.
Anyways, so maybe we were a little harsh on it. I'm just not big on it. Especially when I watched. Maybe that's unfair. Like, I was watching someone else play it, but
yeah, I mean, I will play it because I am dedicated to doing this year where I want to play everything. So I will play it.
Todd, I don't know if I can finish it, especially since I know what happens.
Well, then we demote it to a tier 3. You know, and I just run through it real quick and
well, it is short. It is short. It's like 15 hours.
Yeah, if you mainline it,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, let's talk about two better games.
Yeah,
let's talk about two better games.
Fun.
Tyler recently just finished Horizon Forbidden West, and I recently just finished God of War Ragnarok. Two of our games of the year for 2022, which is hilarious because both of us didn't play one of them. But nonetheless, what I really did like about this experience, is that it confirmed a lot of things that we said in our Game of the Year review. So I'm very happy about where we put things there. Because I agree with everything that we said. Like, everything you said about God of War, I agree with.
So you feel better about the Game of the Year stuff?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
It is solidified that as like, okay, obviously I haven't played Elden Ring yet, but everything else, I'm like, okay.
Sure.
Well, those two games, right? So hopefully you feel the same way about Horizon, where I was trying to tell you how good it was. And
so that's what we're talking about, right? Like, where I feel worse. about the discussions where I feel like I snubbed the heck out of Horizon after it just got snubbed everywhere else too.
Right.
Because that is a masterpiece game.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yes. It is better than God of War.
No, it's not.
All right.
So that's the problem here. That's the problem here. It is not better than God of War.
Okay.
And I hate when you do this to me because now it is going to make it sound like I do not like Horizon.
I know.
It's
going to make it sound like I don't like God of War, which I fought for. So
go back to my game of the year. I was the only one fighting for Horizon. Well, Jeff was on board with me too.
Yeah.
He likes that game. So he was agreeing with me, but I was very big on Horizon.
Yeah.
Up to that point, that was my game of the year, obviously, but I think God of War Ragnarok is better than Horizon.
How do you want to break this down?
Whatever
I just found out we have time. So you know our time constraint? It's gone.
Okay. You've been snoozing on this, so by snoozing I mean you've been thinking on this.
So
what do you want to start with?
When I say Horizon is a better game than God of War,
okay,
I am talking the complete package. Horizon, I think if you buy a PlayStation for the first time and you're like, hey, I have one game that's gonna, and I don't even call it lengthwise because that's not a fair comparison, but just in terms of full game, I think Horizon is a better buy. But I think we break this down by category. Let's review it, right? Like we'll review it on the air.
Okay.
This will be a weird dual review where we can't actually, but we reviewed on air and we kind of compare and contrast the different things, right? Okay. Because I absolutely agree with you that there are certain things about God of War that are way better than Horizon.
Yeah.
I just think, holistically speaking, it's a fun corporate term, Horizon is a better package.
Okay.
It does more things better that work together.
Okay.
Than God of War. Okay, so let's talk music real quick.
Yeah.
I think God of War music is better than Horizon.
100%. Yeah, it's not. Horizon's music is not bad, like I said, though, but God of War's music is the better.
Horizon had, and this actually happened in the first game too. After you beat the main campaign, I've noticed more and more bugs show up, and it's bizarre.
Really?
I didn't have a single bug throughout the entire game. I beat the campaign, and luckily the campaign's like, okay, now you can do everything else you want.
Right.
Both games, and we might spoil some things, so if you're worried about spoilers and stuff for those two games, maybe...
Did we warn spoilers for Forspoken?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I ruined the whole game for everyone. Okay, perfect.
For both of those games, when you beat the main story, they say, okay, now the whole world's open to you. Go nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. So with Horizon, for whatever reason, the music, while I like the music, and I actually like the theme of it, I think it's a very good, I can always pick it out as it's playing and stuff like that. The peaceful times are very, tranquil music. I really like it. But a couple times the music started and went super hardcore on me, like I'm in a fight when I'm not, and stuff, and it took me out of it and different things like that. I didn't get any of that with God of War. God of War was always had really cool thematic music when it needed to be, and granted, you're always fighting God of War and whatever.
Yeah.
Horizon never stood out. So it was good music, but it was never oh man, this is popping off. Where God of War, I felt was the music was pumping me up more than the actual fighting was.
No, I totally agree. And God of War is just, I think the music's a little bit more unique as well.
Yeah.
Where the thematic material.
That's probably a better, yeah.
The thematic material of the music just fits better, which it makes more sense, right? Because when you're in a mythos like that and you have gods that stand out, it's easier to kind of fit music to that, I would say, than Horizon, which is a little bit more varied.
Yep.
And not as prominent in its individual figures, if that makes sense. So, again, I'm very happy that we put God of War as our best music for the year. Because while I did listen to both tracks, Elden Ring and God of War is what we were debating between. Now playing God of War, playing through it, hearing the music, I was like, oh yeah, this is fantastic.
And God of War isn't my favorite style, right? I think if I was just listening to something or I'm doing my normal day-to-day stuff,
right.
Horizon might actually be the one I go with because it's a little bit easy listen.
Sure.
But in a game, God of War is just...
Right. And that's a factor too, right? You pair it with the experience of the game.
Right.
Which is
100%.
Something you have to consider, and how it makes that, blend, right?
Horizon didn't wow me.
I do like Horizon, and this is what I was talking about in the Game of the Year show as well, is that the standard of music in games these days is so high. I mean, the music is excellent. I mean, it's really hard to find bad music in especially these AAA titles. I mean, they really are outstanding, but so it makes it even harder when you have to pick a standout. But I do think God of War is just has a little bit more personality to it, and a little bit more striking, which I appreciate.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay, so music, I would say God of War. That's where it's at.
Sure.
Let's talk characters.
Okay.
And it's a little tough because I would actually put these almost on the same level, personally. I think God of War does a better job with the antagonists. I think they're way better done, way better voice acting, all of that. I completely give it to God of War on that end.
Yep.
I don't think the Horizon antagonists are very good. However, when it comes to your band of crewmates and different things like that,
right?
Personally, I was way more invested in the like what Jeff was saying with like Mass Effect 2, like the Mass Effect 2-esque, like here are your crewmates, this is what here's your base of operations. You start to learn everybody, you get tied to them a little bit more.
Yeah.
I still liked all the people in God of War, but like Freya, I was like, like she's okay, but everyone is so intense in God of War. And to some extent, it's the same way with Horizon, but everyone takes everything so seriously.
Mm-hmm.
It's just God of War was, I'm trying to find the best words for it, but it's just like, it's very black or white with a lot of that stuff, where it's like either they're like always angry and intense and crazy, or they're just like, oh, whatever, everything's jokes and stuff.
Okay.
Horizon, I think, has way more characters, obviously. Like, you're going around to all the different villages and talking all the different side quests. Like, I mean, I don't even know how many side quests there are, like 20 plus side quests of all these different characters you meet one time and talk with them.
Right.
But every single one was so well voiced.
Mm.
Like, the way that they looked, even like they're in this, I forget what quest it was, but some character, the voice actor they got, it sounded like they had they're just like a big jaw. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like the way that they talked, the air that they were putting through the microphone, whatever. It was like, if I close my eyes, I'm listening to this person, I just picture their face. This isn't it, but like pretend the Godfather. You know how like the Godfather is talking and stuff, and you can just see his face. So anyone that is talking like a Godfather, you think of what's his face, Marlon Brando, and the way he looked.
Yeah.
Like cotton ball stuffed in your cheeks or whatever.
Sure.
But that's how it was with every Horizon character, where it's like, if it was a black character that looked, like a big, like jacked dude or whatever, the voice matched. It was never like, there was never a mismatching of voice to the look of the character. And I thought it was just brilliant. Right. I don't even know how many people they got to voice it. I'm sure they did, hey, we're going to bring you in. You're going to do 12 different characters or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, it was everyone seemed unique. And these throwaway characters, people that you meet one time or whatever, it was so well done. And I think that leads me into the whole. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to talk about any of the? I feel like I'm just monologuing.
No. I finish your thought. I know you've been thinking a lot about this.
Well, it's just the characters drive it, and every side quest that they drive. Yes, the main thing is like, so-and-so ran away into the forest. Please bring them back.
Right.
But like, you go and you do it, and it's just a different experience for every side quest. So it's like this, the start is, hey, please get this person for me.
Right.
But when you go and get the person, everyone's different. This person left for so-and-so reasons. This person got attacked by so-and-so. And it just like, it unlayers all these things with these side quests.
Yeah.
Where it's not just, oh, here's a fetch mission, bring it back. Oh, here, do this, bring it back. It was like every single thing I did, I never felt like it was like, oh, this is such a chore. 99% of the time. We can talk about like kind of the negative parts too, but
right.
And the characters had such an impact with that. Like I never skipped a cutscene. I never skipped dialogue. I mean, I would fast forward, but like they delivered it so well that most of the time I just sit there and listen to them, and it was totally fine.
Right.
And just with God of War and like their side quests, it was very much a check, which again I like to some extent, but it was like, okay, you're going to this area, find all the ravens, find all these. And like there are collectibles in Horizon 2, but like when it comes to cutscenes, it's like, go here, talk to a ghost, kill guys, and then bring it back. Right. And I just think Horizon did such a better job with the world building and just going from place to place. And there's always something to do and always someone to talk to and different things like that. I don't know.
So that's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
In terms of characters, totally disagree. While Horizon has really great characters, like I said, and I like them, and like the squad mates. So what you said in the beginning, yeah, the antagonists are infinitely better in God of War.
Yeah, 100%.
And are we allowed to spoil?
We said no spoilers.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry. We said spoilers. So if they don't want to listen, then
okay. So another spoiler warning here. So when you go to Asgard,
yeah,
that's one of my favorite points in the game, and you get to see. I always love stories where you get to see the perspective of the other guys and like why they view you as the villain, and like, yeah, you killed my son, man, and my sons, and like you guys are the bad guys, and like when you meet Thrud and stuff, and she's like telling you like from her perspective, like
it's all fantastic.
You guys are monsters.
Yep.
Anyways, so it's like amazing.
Yes.
And such personality from all the bad guys because you can really see their perspective and you can see everything like that. And Odin, one of my favorite villains of all time. I mean, this guy,
right? Yeah,
just fantastic.
Which we gave him best character,
which
right?
I 100% am so happy I gave you that one. And I was like, although Aaron is great.
I still stick with Odin. Odin by far is my favorite character.
Me too.
Yeah,
but sure. I hope you look what I was saying and this is a little bit of a deviation. What I was saying in the Game of the Year show is what I loved about Aaron is like when you guys are learning about the old world, quote unquote, and he's like, yeah, this metal music's pretty great. And you're just like, this is like,
yep.
It's just the character. They just know that character well, right? Yep. And I just thought it was really well fleshed out. Anyways, Odin's fantastic. Mm-hmm. The way he manipulates everyone, the big plot twist in the game where he was with you the whole time, right? Yeah. And now you go, and I love that kind of trope too, where now you go back and you can, he called Freya Frigg, and that was weird, and I didn't even notice. And now it's like all these little pieces, and it's like you could have, it was there, it was all there the whole time. Anyways, so the bad guy's infinitely better. I do think what I will say about your team is, Freya and his band of people. That's what I'll give it to you. It's like I felt like I was just introduced to them, and then one of them died. And I was like, dude, who are you? Like this, it was like supposed to be this impactful thing. And then Freya was cool, and I really liked him, but he dies. It's like we don't even get that much time with him, and I don't know, dude. So that seemed a little rushed.
And Horizon has a couple things like that, like the one, and I guess depending on how you play the game and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, it's for whatever reason I didn't. Maybe it's just because I never went back to the base in God of War. Like unless the game was like, hey, you need to go back here. I just never went back.
Interesting. Yeah.
So maybe I just didn't.
Well, you have to go back for a lot of the main story.
You're always back there.
Yeah.
But I just never felt compelled to be like, hey, let me go
feel
see
like it was a home base. Yeah.
Because my whole thing was like, if I go out and I do something,
right?
Like I get in Horizon, I'm like, I get another piece of the Gaia thing, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm
go
just
back
like,
and reset.
I want to hear what everyone has to say about so and so.
Mass Effect,
exactly
formula. Yeah.
And it's just like
it's a great formula.
Yeah, but
you have a base, you have a ship.
They interacted. It was just like they had some. Because every time you brought a new person back, everyone talked about that person. It's like, here's how I'm going to interact with them. Yep. This person's funny. We drank, or we played, Strike or whatever together.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, it was just like throughout the game, I just felt like I was attached to them more. I was liking them more. All of them had different personalities. Even the people I was like, this guy's like such a. What's his name? Koto or
the guy with one arm.
Yeah. Like when I first had him, I'm like, this is going to be just like a gruff, like, okay, whatever guy. And then by the end, I'm like, I freaking love you. Like he's so cool.
He's great.
And every single character was just so well done, well voiced. Their missions and everything. Like I think honestly, if anything, they did Aaron dirty and didn't give him more face time. I feel like everyone needed a mission to do.
Yeah, like a loyalty mission.
Exactly. Yeah, and I guess towards the end, he kind of.
There's a couple of them.
There are,
right, but
they could have done more with it.
Yeah, but anyways, back to God of War, the comparison. So yeah, I agree with all of that. The companions are great, but Mimir is amazing still.
Yeah.
I love what they do with Atreus. I think his growth in this game is fantastic.
See, I don't like Atreus.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So here's the weird thing. I actually liked what they did with him more than Kratos. Actually, like the more I played that game, the more I'm like, I don't know if Judge should have got that. I would have given it to Atreus, the kid that played him. Actually, fantastic voice actor.
Maybe I can see that.
I don't know. Like Atreus,
Judge does a great job. I mean,
he's great, but
you can't.
He was the entire game. Like I don't think he really had the character arc was in the first game. This second game was basically just like, I love my kid. I will protect my kid. I guess his arc is like eventually he totally like trusts his kid.
No, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
you get to that stage when your kid is able to make these decisions. Like the first game, he is dependent on you. This game, he's going off by himself. He is becoming independent, and now it's the whole trust aspect. It's the whole his purpose and destiny, and you get into all of that, right? So I disagree. I think there's a lot more growth that Kratos went through.
I just don't. Maybe it's because I don't think Atreus deserved the trust. Like I feel like he screwed up so many times. It's like, yeah, man, look, you gotta.
No, but I love he's Loki, right? He's the god of mischief, and I love how he's not an asshole, but he's still mischievous. He's still that when Heimdall meets him, and he's like, I look into your eyes and I see you lying to everyone, and cities burning behind you. And I'm like, this is I love how they incorporate that slowly in such a unique way.
Yeah.
Where it's not just like he's Loki from like the MCU, right? He's like a good-natured guy. He's trying to do the right thing, and he just in trying to do the right thing, he lies to people and fucks things up, and it's fantastic. But
I think
I really like Atreus. I like his arc so much. He's finding out about himself, the whole prophecy thing, and I think it's fantastic. I really think Agrabota is great. Is that her name?
Yeah,
she's really good. And I really like Freya. I love Freya. I don't know why you don't like her. I
don't know. Like Freya.
Like
Freya's
when you first go to her home world and you get that interaction with Kratos and Freya, and they're talking about like Kratos is going. I love when Kratos goes into his past and he's like, "Yep, I had a daughter once. I fucking killed her."
Yeah.
And then killed all my gods. I still feel like shit.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just loved that interaction.
They almost did it for me. It's just like, I always have this, I call it the Spider-Man 3 thing where it's like, you're my greatest nemesis. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
Yeah.
Which is James Franco's Green Goblin or whatever.
Yeah.
And at the end, it's like, hey, buddy, old pal, like, no problem. Like, whatever.
No, I think they did it well, though. I think
it was close, but for me, it was still like, so you guys are just like cool now.
No, because they set it up in a way, but when Atreus visits her on his own, that's when they set it up where it's like, okay, she's actually deep down in her heart, which we know in the first game is a good-natured person and just isn't capable of that kind of acts.
Yeah.
Those kind of acts. And I like how they set that up because she could have killed him right there and it would have been an eye for an eye, which is pretty much, I mean, they set it up where she's trying to go after Kratos kind of, but
she's so angry at Odin. And maybe Odin just screwed her more. So I guess that makes sense. But like, she's like bloodlust Odin and bloodlust Kratos. And then Kratos is like, oh, okay, whatever. And then,
but it was that interaction where it's like, okay, she needs to be freed from her bounds of Odin. So she needs Kratos. So she's using him, quote unquote, for the temporary alliance. And then in that conversation, in that discussion, like at the end of that, there's so many amazing one-lines in it. Like the script in this is so much better than Horizon, in my opinion. Like there's so many great one-lines.
Yeah.
So he's like,
for the main campaign, I agree with you.
Yeah, like the story.
But no, like here's the thing: the story I think was largely boring.
No.
So I
remember what you were saying during the Game of the Year show. You were like, "Oh, well, we know what the objective was, and they just block us from it the whole time." I was like, And then I played it. I was like, nah, I don't agree with that take at all.
Look, and that's completely valid. I'm just saying
what's
that's how it
what's
felt.
the big objective that we
felt
had?
was just like the way I felt was, hey, we're gonna go after Odin. Well, I can't go after Odin. We need to get Ragnarok first. Okay, can you get Ragnarok first? You need to go and get the spear or whatever. And I'm mixing all that stuff up, but it's like you have to do this to this, and it felt a little bit more chorey, or hey, we have to go to do this immediately. And I never felt, and maybe this is just me, but it's like it was like either I forgot why the hell I was there, or it's just like, oh, I'm just in Asgard because Loki wanted to go hang out and see what's up. But it was like I never felt compelled to, okay, the world's about to end or whatever, like Ragnarok's coming. I never felt like this urgency thing. I don't know how else to describe it.
I don't know.
I just felt like we were gated.
I don't get that. I don't get that. Like Loki went to Asgard because of the beginning of the game when Odin's talking to him outside. And Thor's fighting with Kratos. Yeah. Odin's like, hey, you have a lot of questions. I got a lot of answers. My door's always open. You're welcome here. I mean, the manipulation I just thought it was really well done. I didn't get that.
And I don't want to. It was good. I enjoyed God of War. My whole thing was there was a difference between when I beat God of War and everything happens and which did you like the end battle, like when you're running through and doing everything?
I thought it was pretty epic.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. Now here's what I say. I think the pacing was off. Okay, because we're uniting the 9 realms against Odin.
Exactly.
And it was literally like 10 minutes, and it's like, yep, we got everyone. All right, here we go.
Yeah, I thought it was like you could go to each realm.
That should have been the thing where you're recruiting everyone for the big battle. I feel like that's there it is.
I feel like that.
So that
I would have rather been doing that. So my thing is,
and then Surtur, that was kind of disappointing.
Yep.
You literally go up to Surtur, and he's like, I don't want to talk to you. And then you fight this thing, and then you go up to him again, and he's like, I know why you're here. I don't want to help you.
Yeah.
And then Kratos is like, all right, let's go. And he's like, whoa, what are those? Oh, Chaos Blades? All right, I'll help you. You got to stab my chest. And I'm like, wait. We skipped a couple steps here. We what?
But
so yeah, I get it. It's not.
And Horizon isn't devoid of that either.
No.
It's just like,
it's not
they
perfect.
make these leaps, or they spend so much time going back and forth. They're like, okay, let's put this mask together.
See,
or let's do this. And then that's just gone.
What I'm surprised about your take is you're saying God of War's like that, but if you look at Horizon, that seemed repetitive. Okay, we got 3 pieces of Gaia. We got 1. Now let's do the other. Like it was very structured. It was that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's like that was pretty like, well, so let's collect everything, and then now we got to do this.
And this is exactly why I think we're on opposite sides here, because you value story and characters and everything very highly. I value gameplay very highly.
Yeah.
So I think when I could easily agree with everything you just said, right? Like as far and I do for the most part of like a lot of the characters, a lot of the voice acting and stuff, I would still give to God of War, but I do not think Horizon gets nearly enough credit in terms of just these throwaway characters that you talk to get great voice. I'm not saying every single one, like you hit triangle and it's like, hey, champion, whatever. But anyone that it goes to a 3/4 person cutscene or whatever is great.
And those cutscenes, and not cutscenes, but those interactions look fantastic.
They're animated. I would say 99% of them. There are certain ones that I'm like, you had to have used like an AI or something.
Well, I was looking in the credits because I remember you talking about that, and there is.
Perfect.
AI production team or whatever. Yeah. So
you can tell.
Yeah. So that was a great call out for that.
But like that's the thing. Like that's like lip syncing is AI generated.
Yep.
Like I dial. So like there are plenty of time, which is kind of funny, where like sometimes Aloy just locks on to the chest of like some chick that's talking. And I'm just like, okay, Aloy, I got you. You talk about unlikable characters. I don't like Aloy. Right.
Right.
You talk about being a jerk to everybody. She's constantly telling everybody, I don't have time for this. I'm beelining it to Gaia. And then by the end of the game, at least she's like helping people and you see somewhat of a change. I just typically don't like Aloy generally as a character. Didn't really like her in the first game either. I think Kratos, love it.
Much better character.
But I don't
think Aloy's bad though.
It's not.
Especially when you see Elizabeth. She's a dick.
Yeah.
Every time you see Elizabeth,
yeah.
she's just like a robot. She doesn't care about anything. So it's like I like that juxtaposition of her original self versus her. She seems more empathetic. Just due to probably her experience.
More,
yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
So I like Aloy.
I think my thing. Sorry, to get back to gameplay.
Sorry. Yeah.
When you're looking at the gameplay, God of War has some really good fighting.
Yes.
I would say it has mediocre, if not bad, puzzles. They're okay.
Now, is that because they tell you the answer right away?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. You should be able to turn that off.
You might be able to.
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Horizon kind of does the same thing, but I think Horizon handles it better.
Yes.
Where if you're doing something and like you do something right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, good, now I can use this.
Yeah.
Or, oh, okay, I finally can hit that ledge or something.
Like the puzzles in Horizon, like the abandoned old
Yeah,
world houses.
It's like,
I do like that.
Some
and then
of
you get to
them-
learn, oh, this was a hotel or this was a
Right.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I really like that.
But every one of those is different, like significantly
Yes.
different.
Yes.
Not just like,
There's
it's a
lot
different
of-
layout. It's like what you do. Like some of them, you do this thing once.
Yeah.
You never do it again the rest of the game.
Right,
And I think
right.
that's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. A lot of effort went into designing
And
those
that's
areas.
just like the things around the world. You have the cauldrons. All the cauldrons are different. It's not like before. I think in the first one, it was like, oh, I got to go through this again.
Cauldrons were
It was
chore.
like copy paste.
Yeah.
This one, it's still kind of I don't want to say a chore, but it's like, okay, this is going to take me a while.
Right.
But it's so different
They
how
really-
you do it. It's
yeah.
the same area roughly, but like how you go about doing it, how she's talking to her, so like a lot goes to Ashley Birch because she has to literally just talk to herself for
Right.
60 hours, right?
Right.
Like that's awesome. But I thought the cauldrons were fantastic. There's literally racing in the game.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you go and you race, and there's that whole arc, which was fantastic. You have obviously the hunting grounds. You have the arenas where like the melee is like I actually used melee a ton in that game. The variety of ways you can go about doing everything, the variety of machines that you can go and you fight,
Right.
the way you take on everything. All of the side quests are completely different.
Yep.
More or less. I mean, obviously there's some cut and repeat and stuff. But like, holy cow, man! Like it's a big game. It very, very rarely feels like these like, oh, now I gotta go do this.
Right.
Some of the standouts against that are like, okay, like the Vista points, you gotta go to a Vista point, hit the right point and stuff. And it's like, it's kind of annoying. I didn't enjoy doing that. The collectathons, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. So like they weren't so egregious that I was like, okay, I'll just collect everything, whatever. So I did all that. I thought tell you I'm at like 98% or something. I think the only thing I have to do is glide for 60 seconds.
That's it.
Like and then I finish it.
Do you know where to do that? Do you know the tallest
No,
point?
I gotta find
Okay.
that. The beauty with that too, though, is you want to talk about traversal.
Yeah.
I mean,
great.
Horizon, it's like, oh, you can just fly now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the minus I have with the glider kind of defeats the purpose of all these zip lines and stuff. Like, just get rid of the-
I'm talking like the bird.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
once
you
you get
literally-
that, once
yeah,
you get that, it's over.
That's what I mean. So like, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to peek
Yeah.
this side of the map and
Yeah.
get all of the points
how
of interest.
How good does it look? Just flying around the world,
It
like
is
seamless.
That's why going to
Seamless.
Forspoken is insane. And God of War
yeah.
looks good, but Horizon
It's on rails,
is
though.
so
It's on rails compared
varied
to-
and so
oh, yeah.
So
but
it's just like,
here's the thing, Ty. So I think you're exactly right. It comes down to our preferences because
Yeah.
open world Horizon does that about as good as you can.
I would
right?
say Horizon is the best open world
Yeah.
I've ever played.
It's up there. I mean,
Yeah.
it is fantastic. It's unique. It's varied. It's the traversal's great. The what's in it feels lively, and there's locations that are memorable, which is so important in an open world game. Because like when we speak about Forspoken, it's not memorable. There's no landmarks that you remember.
I mean, you have a
but
map,
in like
you can do it.
Horizon, you have like Las Vegas,
Yeah.
which was one of my favorite parts. Is like, oh, here's future Las Vegas, and
How
this
cool
like
is that whole
it's
mission?
so cool.
They're just like, oh, I'm
And
just
they're
going to go
reviving-
here.
yeah.
And it's a whole like,
and he's like dreaming of bringing it back, and
Yep.
he's a showman. I love that. That guy is one of my favorite. Like fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, so I get it, but for me, like you said, story. I love the cinematic nature of the camera in God of War, how it follows you and it ducks under what you're ducking under. And it's like there's a cameraman there. It's like a movie. And I love that about God of War. It makes me feel so immersed in it and so invested in what's going on. And I just think it's so tastefully done, how that's shot. Like the camera work. It's like something, you don't necessarily think about until you see it, the potential of that.
Yep.
Mirroring like real life filmography, right? So, or cinematography. So I love that. And then just the story is just fantastic. I really love how they explore every character and just how things unfold. And the plot twist was great. I didn't see it coming at all. And you get to see both sides. You get to go into everyone's history more and just learn more. And
that's all the campaign. I would say I will give you that the campaign I think was told better than Horizon.
Yes.
Because Horizon is broken up where it's
I loved Horizon's campaign too because that plot twist was nuts in the middle point.
I will say I was more interested in Horizon's campaign because it was just like what the heck is going on?
What does this mean now? Yeah, right.
So I think the difference between the two is God of War propels you through it.
Okay.
Where Horizon, you have to
continue it.
I am ready for the next chapter.
Yeah.
And I think that's just two very different ways of going about doing it. I clearly went with the Horizon, I'm trying to think of the best way of doing it. God of War, I never felt like I'm getting interested in this other thing. I'll come back to the campaign.
Right.
God of War, I was like, no, I'm just going to I want to see how this goes.
Yeah, I felt myself doing that too, where I just focused on the campaign.
Yeah, but Horizon, I was getting sidetracked constantly.
Right. But I don't think that's a bad thing for me. Or in my opinion.
Being propelled through the campaign.
Yeah, because to me I was like, what happens next? What happens next? What's Odin up to? I want to see what's going on. How is this going to end? I didn't know where it was going. I was like, are we going to start Ragnarok? Are we not? I mean, obviously we, probably eventually, but and then the serpent gets knocked back in time. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Horizon, I didn't want that game to end. I kept going, I all right, just for the sake of finishing the game so we could talk about this, I'm like, all right, I'll just finish the main campaign.
Right.
Holy cow, was I overjoyed whenever it was like, okay, now do the rest. And I was like, done. I got it.
When you get to the beaches on the coast, beautiful.
It's like a whole new game.
Oh my God,
oh my goodness. So
the biomes in Horizon are just fantastic. So the world, I agree.
I want to explore that world versus God of War. It's like I want to find the hidden places, but I'm not enjoying being in the world. I'm not pausing God of War 90% of the time, being like, "Holy cow, look at that sunrise or sunset."
Well, there's some when you're in Jotunheim, the vistas are sometimes really good.
I just don't think there's a bad spot. Even the desert.
Oh no! Horizon is
Vegas.
is more pretty than God of War. But I will say, I love the huge scale of God of War, which is one of the things that does amazing as well. When you fight Garm in Hell, just huge fucking dog. It's just, I love those fights, man. And that's what God of War has done amazing since the first one.
But it didn't feel constricted at all. I felt like with God of War, especially Helheim, because I think Helheim is actually a pretty, compared to the first game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Helheim was not
as
great.
good. But well, yeah, okay, maybe it did, but
because you beat 100% Helheim the first time you're there, and you just never go back. Right. So it's well, I guess you go back technically once, but you know what I mean. But so it's one of those I felt like it was very on the rails, very here's a corridor, follow this corridor. There is a one path way of going about this thing. Where Horizon just felt I know
what's open world. Yeah, no, I got you.
But even in the cauldrons or even in this thing, it didn't feel constrained on you have to go down this hallway. I felt you always had options, and maybe that's just led to the whole I'm a sucker for stealth. I'm a sucker for setting up the scenario.
Yeah,
nothing feels better than setting everything up and being
the traps and
here you take one shot and everything just happens how you need it to.
Reaction,
It's so cool.
No,
God of War is just a brawl every time.
Yeah, but dude, and I said this about the first game. Does it get a little repetitive at times? Yes, but I think they've enhanced it enough where you have a lot more options in your combat.
Yeah,
with a new weapon and all the trees and everything. I just love it though.
Yeah,
Kratos ripping someone in half will never get old to me ever. he can. I don't even care. The brutality of that game, seeing Kratos just absolutely tear someone's head off with his bare hands, is just fantastic every single time. And the sound design with that too, just hearing the crunching of the bones, and it's just brutal. I just found myself, and I've seen it before. I've seen it before. I've seen Kratos do this, and every time my jaw drops like,
they tone it down. Like the original God of War games were way more gruesome than this one, and that's by design. They're like, hey, we don't want it to be like this like gore fest. It's just he does what he needs to do and he moves on. Yeah,
but the executions are always just like this is crazy.
I feel like there should have been more. And this is me nitpicking, so it is what it is. But how you said, like, it never gets old. It never gets old to feel powerful like that.
Yeah.
I think the same animation where, like, if there's, like, 3 elves in a row, and you're, like, kicking them, slice them in half, kick them, slice them in half, and then, like, stab one in the eye, and then kick them, like, it's, like, it's all randomized.
Right.
And I felt like I was getting and, you know, like, Doom did the same issue, where it's, like, it's the same thing over
You're
and over
limited
again.
by, you know, the animations, but...
I feel like that could have been a little bit more varied, but...
So much to talk about. I feel like we've been talking about this for a while.
I mean,
but
we can. I guess my whole thing is when it came to a gameplay, I would have fought for Horizon way more,
right?
In terms of overall game, because I think that thing is so chock full of, and like you have Red Dead, you have Witcher, you have really kind of like dense games, for open world stuff. But man, that was so good.
No, I agree. So would you say it would have been your game of the year?
It is Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. If I could, sorry, I'm going to sneeze. If I could redo it, Horizon is my game of the year for 2022.
And what would be second? Elden Ring?
God of War. No, God of War. I mean, Elden Ring is, I'm saying mine personally.
Oh, I got you.
No, would
God of War been 2 for you? I mean, you liked a lot of other
Elden
games.
Ring would not have been 2 for me.
No, I know Elden Ring would have been, but you liked Neon White. You really liked Tunic.
No, I think God of War still would have been.
I gotcha.
Probably 2. Yeah, I guess Neon White did have his number 1. I'd have to think about that.
Right.
God of War might have been 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Just crazy. You're absolutely wrong.
God of War's great, man. I don't want to. I know I'm like kind of. You have to crap on one to promote
that's
the
what I'm
other.
Saying. That's why I hate
sucks.
these conversations.
Yeah. And they are in a lot of ways apples and oranges, but I hate how Horizon is such a technical marvel.
Yeah.
On what it performs, it runs flawlessly,
like butter,
and looks. You could take any screenshot from God of War. If you take the best God of War screenshot and you take the best Horizon screenshot, Horizon wins.
Yep.
Like easy.
I agree.
So it's like Horizon is just absolutely gorgeous. It makes me hate like Forspoken and just running around that bland and to some even with Elden Ring. Like Elden Ring can't hold a candle to how gorgeous
Horizon's
Horizon
world is just so beautiful.
And it doesn't matter, like from the desert to the snow, the jungle, the beaches, every single thing in that game is just gorgeous.
The cities,
it's I don't know.
No, I agree. But for me, God of War, I just love
all the tribes are like
I did like that. That was very interesting to me. Learning about the tribes,
how everyone's like different handles, like it was, so
and
cool.
how they came to be on their tribes, like the one tribe with the 10 or whatever, referring to like this elite special ops back in the day. It's so fantastic how that
and
all
then that
ties together.
spawns your collectathons, and that does all this other stuff, and you start understanding all the politics behind it all, and it's just like. It's so well done and so distinct that you know where you are in the world just by the people around you. Right. You're like, oh, okay.
But I was a little disappointed by the big bads. Like,
I completely agree with you.
When you first get introduced to them, you're like, holy shit.
Yep.
What? And then by the end of the game, it's like, okay, well, the leader of them kind of just dies.
You're a one-note bad guy, and we're like, all right, we're just going to murder you.
It's the girl. It's like, no, I'm going to kidnap you. I don't know. Odin was fantastic. Just playing,
100%.
Manipulating everyone. Had some really good points.
Right? Yeah.
Like, you're like, okay, wait a minute, he's kind of... So,
it's the Thanos effect, where I'm just like, hey, man, you got...
But all the villains were good. Thor's so great. I love how they explore his alcoholism and just how Odin just fucking treats his children like garbage and just abuses them mentally. Heimdall is great because when you can get me to hate a character that much, it's just like, and I just thought he was super cool.
I mean, your protagonists are only as good as your antagonists.
Right.
So like I think that is something where I did not like Aloy to begin with, but then her antagonists were also bad, where I'm like, okay.
I don't think they were bad. But compared to God of War, they are bad.
Yeah. I just don't think, I think they said it, like the first time you see them, they're like awesome.
Yes.
And then they did nothing with them.
No.
So to me, it's like, okay. Like honestly, a lot of the subplots, like a lot of the side thing where it's like, oh, you're actually going after this, did you ever finish all of the outposts and like fight the final chick?
No.
That one was awesome. The final race, whenever you find out who the mask guy is, was awesome. Yeah. Like there are so many side things and other characters and stuff that were like
great payoffs.
So good. Yeah. And then the main guys, like that's definitely where God of War shines.
Right. But I am excited for the third Horizon.
Dude, they have the expansion. Like, the expansion's coming out. I am so psyched for that now. Yeah.
But no, I mean both are great games. I like both very much.
If I'm going to run around the world and do the side quests and collectathons and stuff, Horizon all the way.
Right.
God of War, I truly loved the story. I liked everything about it. It was good. Right. The moment God of War ended and it was like, Atreus walks off into the literally nothing. He just walks off screen.
He just walks off screen. Stage left.
I was like, that's cool. And then I'm like, I'm good.
The thing I will say about God of War side quests, I don't think they're as bad as you were saying, because I love the lore of the world, how they tie in the mythology into it, and that's what you're learning about when you're doing these side quests.
But it's like, and don't get me wrong, because I love what's his face, Mimir. Yeah, Mimir.
Mirror on the wall.
I like Mimir, and I like the way it's like, oh, tell me about this later or whatever, and as you're traversing and stuff. But there is something to be said about the immersion of Horizon and how you're still learning all of that stuff, but it's all through talking to other people and how they experience the world and how you're all experiencing the same thing together, but every tribe is experiencing it differently, and you're getting the full picture the more you interact with everybody.
Right.
Where God of War, it's like, this happened. Here is the legend, and I'm just going to read you this Wikipedia article. Very interesting. But here's
the thing, though. I think it's a testament to how well he does it, and they tie it into his character, where he's like the one he's the smartest man in the world. He knows all this stuff, and he's the storyteller. But I agree. Obviously, Horizon does it in a more interesting way, and more like you get to talk to people and learn their perspective, and like you said, put the whole picture together. But I think
that's truthfully, that's with me not reading a single bit of the 100 other articles and everything else.
Right. I listened to everything. So much in the game.
Right. And I listened to everything, and the only ones I read were like, I need to find the code for this. But that's it. Yeah. And it's just, it's so good.
No, it's fantastic. But both games are great, and I think both games are closer than people gave it credit for.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I like God of War more. It's just, it just hits what I love about games.
I think at the end of the day, I doubled my time in Horizon than in God of War, because I did not want to leave that world.
So you think Horizon's twice as good as God of War? Is what you're saying?
No, I wouldn't go that far. But I'm still thinking about Horizon. I'm still like,
I'm the opposite. I'm still thinking about God of War.
Yeah.
Like, I looked up videos on like Tyr exposing himself as being Odin and all that, and then
it's all about the gameplay. It's all about, if I love a game, then how much the end game is and how long I can continue playing it is a high thing for me. Where God of War, I could keep playing it. I could go and fight all the guards and whatnot, but I'm like,
dude, the script was so much better in God of War, dude. There's just so many lines that just hit me.
I agree with you generally speaking.
Yeah.
I just think that the characters and just the way the world was presented was more interesting. Did you go to
Brock's funeral at the end of the game?
No, I did not.
So you go to Brock's funeral, and they give him a Viking funeral, which is cool. And then his brother goes, or whatever his face is, and you remember he's like fucking
he's
and he comes, and then Kratos like tries to put his hand on his shoulder. He's like, "Fuck you guys," and then leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mimir says, "A hole." That was the answer to Brock's riddle. What I forget what it was.
You finally
it gets deeper.
Yeah.
And But it was just perfectly done where his brother leaves a hole and then there's silence and it's like oh man, it was so, that game's just beautiful.
It is. Like I think from a narrative, like a storytelling way, like I can't deny that. Again, you talk about pacing.
Yeah.
I don't want to beat that horse. I still don't think that the pace, like the difference is with God of War, I felt that the pacing was based off of how they wanted the pacing to be. Where Horizon, I controlled the pacing.
The pacing in God of War Ragnarok is not as good as the first game, for sure. I think I prefer the first game over the second game in terms of like.
That's actually a great point. I prefer the first God of War to the second, but I prefer the second Horizon to the first.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I just thought the first God of War was just the narrative and journey of it, like one cut was just, I don't know. I just really loved that experience.
I felt compelled to go and do all the side stuff and do because I just enjoyed doing that. Even like with
the boat rides with.
Yeah, the boat rides somehow, and I can't believe I do this, but like I actually enjoy the boat rides more than the dog sled. Yeah. Everything's frozen. I'm just like it's bland, kind of.
Yeah, in a way.
I don't know.
There's something about that first game where it's just took your time, and you were like, I don't know. I think it was part of it is because it was so new, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, they both were. Horizon is significantly better in. I would argue Horizon 2 is better than the first game in every way.
Yeah.
I will go and say that. Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
They're both great. I don't know. I just feel bad now. Like I feel like everyone should know that Horizon is phenomenal. It's very
it was slept on. Super, and they just are cursed every time they bring out their game.
Yep.
It's these unbelievable once in a lifetime games that they have to compete with.
Yeah. If their DLC on this one is half as good as the other one, that one got praised how great it was.
The Frozen North, the first one, I love that. You didn't play it, did you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I love that one.
I'm very excited to play this one though.
That's when you learn about there's an AI in that one at like the top of this mountain, and what's her face references it actually in.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, I
probably didn't know.
No, anything where I was like, I don't remember. I'm like, that's probably from the DLC.
Yeah. So. Because Aloy's like, have you tried to reach out to so-and-so, which is the other AI? And it's like, I did.
And I knew enough there.
Yeah. So, anyways. All right, well, that was a lot.
We didn't really finish with that. I think they're both great. I mean, we're never going to like convince the other one of like, oh, this is better, but.
No, I think it's interesting. I think it boils down to our personal preference.
Yeah.
And I think both games should be recognized for the amazing quality
if you want a good solid narrative, they both have it, but like if you want a good solid narrative, they both have it, maybe go play God of War. If you want good solid gameplay, they both have it, maybe go play Horizon.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I think that's all we got today. Thank you for listening if you made it this far after that big conversation. Check us out on couchcompany.games. Been updating the website a bit, has our episodes on there, has some other stuff. All our links are there too, so really go there and check it out. And
we'll be getting Dead Space up, Fire Emblem, that kind of thing.
Yep, we'll start getting those games up, and then we'll be here same time, same place next week. Thanks for joining us on the couch. Peace.